here in Jewel Cave in West Australia.
It's crazy how Mother Nature just creates these incredible sculptures.
We are here at the Voyager. It's beautiful. It's very chateau-esque. It lives up to what it's known for.
It's been really incredible to go backstage at the Lewin Vineyard. We actually were able to look at the fermentation process.
Basically, a very rare treat being taken behind the scenes. It's awesome.
Well, an unbelievable afternoon here to see Sally Fitzgibbons not finishing out the rest of this season on the championship tour. That is a first. Actually, G-Land will be the very first championship tour that Sally has missed since qualifying in her rookie season. She never missed a CT event, not due to injury, not due to pulling out for any other reason. And a heartfelt moment there for Joanne Defay, close friend of hers. The two of them have been pushing each other to the absolute best of their abilities in women's surfing and pushing the progression of the sport for so many years now. And heading out into the lineup, into the quarterfinals, we have Brisa Hennessy and Gabriella Bryan with an opportunity to continue making it through the rounds here at the Margaret River Pro. Shannon Hughes alongside Wayne Rabbit Bartholomew in the booth. And it is a tough day in surfing today.
Yeah, there's been some tough moments, and wow, that is some streak of consecutive events. Sally Fitzgibbon having surfed every single CT she's been eligible for throughout her entire career, and it'll be tough for her to see the tour going on to G-Land without her.
Getting a first opening ride in from Gabriella Bryan. We saw this. Connects a couple of good snaps together. Gets her campaign underway against Brisa Hennessy with a great finish on that in section.
Wow, she really battled that wave. It was a smaller wave, and it just kept offering up little pockets. And Gabriella, she's just got that aggressive tone to her surfing, and she's kind of relentless in attack.
A 4.67 through for Gabriella Bryan to kick things off against Brisa Hennessy. Brisa, upon making it into the quarterfinals and losing Lakey Peterson from the round of 16, will now walk into G-Land in the yellow jersey once again, which is very exciting. And Gabriella Bryan now has an opportunity to take one of a final 2 spots remaining on the Women's Championship Tour calendar for the rest of the 2022 season, as I can confirm that Joanne Defay, Steph Gilmore, Courtney Conlogue, and Tatiana Weston-Webb have officially made the cut heading into the quarterfinals.
Wow, that's big news, Shannon. And amazing, it's an amazing recovery for Courtney Conlogue. She came from way back. She was way back there with Sally, all the way basically at the base of the rankings coming into the Australian leg. And this is 2 big results already now, and still alive in this tournament, of course. Courtney, she's coming up in a quarterfinal, but that's great news for her.
Very exciting for her and for Steph Gilmore, both with a big ask in front of them heading into Australia after slow starts to the season. And now they can both be secure knowing that they will be heading to G-Land and that they've got an opportunity to make it into the WSL Finals at the end of the season, as well as kicking off the 2023 Championship Tour season.
Well, we know for sure that going into G-Land, everyone's going to be within mathematical possibility of making the final. That's for sure. Making the final 5, and you know, it's a compressed tour with 5 events to go.
It will be a very exciting finish to the year, but we do have a lot ahead of us here at Margaret River. Now into the women's quarterfinals, Bugs. It has been a huge day for women's surfing. We kicked off early this morning with the women's elimination round, went into the men's elimination round, followed up with the women's round of 16, where we saw some exceptional performances. Each of these surfers really pushed to the height of their abilities, I think, as surfers, both under pressure and physically just putting on some ultimate performances. And now we will be finishing out the day with the quarterfinals. with some iffy conditions over the next couple of days coming through Margaret River, looking to finish out the rest of the men's draw and the women's finals early next week.
Yeah, that's what the forecast says, and they've been pretty spot on so far.
Brisa Hennessy now out the back, sitting with priority, patiently waiting to find her opening ride as we see a good-looking set rolling through. Gabby got a quick start off with that 4.67. And now with a look here, Brisa Hennessy with a heavy drop goes down.
Yeah, it was a late drop by Brisa, and she looked in control until she hit the bottom, and then outside, Gabriella is an interesting looking wave, Shannon.
Good looking face opening up in front of her. Big carve back into the pocket and up into the lip for a solid looking snap. Now drifts the tail out for the progression, maintains control, and puts on that finishing section right in front of the bricks. A little bit more on offer here. She's going to stick with it, more than likely just to try and save her fins and stay in that blue face of the wave.
Well, for someone with very limited experience out here, she just maneuvered her way through that rock shelf so well. She really used it to advantage. It was an amazing finish to that ride.
So scores to come through now. Brisa Hennessy opens with just a 0.23 on a heavy fall, on a heavy section. It is one of the exciting things here at Margaret River is that we know that takeoffs can be detrimental.
Yeah, the takeoffs are pretty brutal. It's a steep section, whether you're on the right or the left. Starts out a pretty vertical sheer face, and this one she goes over the lip. She's just momentarily looks to be in pretty good shape as she hits the bottom there, but well, Gabriella, she takes advantage of this wave again. This turn right here, she just buries the board, and she buries her nose, and she gets a lot of slide in the tail. But look at this little section here. She's going along the edge of this rock shelf. And I got a feeling this is like being brought up in Hawaii, you know, so used to surfing over reefs. She's never been here before, and she knew to do that.
Absolutely. Growing up in Kilauea and Kauai, very familiar with shallow reef breaks and having to kind of just commit and stick to your guns on sections that look pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, she could have stepped off onto dry reef right there.
Scores through. It's a 7.00 for Gabriella Bryan.
Yeah, it's a solid wave. She got the best of the exchange. I mean, Brisa, you know, she sat out there. She had priority. She took that first wave, and she went down pretty hard. She's checking her board. She's just doing a little bit of a inventory check on that one. Oh, here's another wave she got. Okay.
Her second wave that we are catching up with now. Score drops through as a 4.00, and we'll take a look at this in section. She does just get dragged right on top of the reef.
Yeah, it seems like it looks bad. Like for her personally, she looks like she's got that little buffer of whitewater where she's in the whitewater with enough buffer underneath her, but she is well and truly getting dragged over that reef. The board did nosedive into it, so definitely worth checking out, but she seems okay.
She did really well to just stay afloat, to keep her head up above the water, let her body just get kind of flushed past that dangerous section on the dry reef. She's now back into the lineup. Hopefully the nose of that board is okay.
Yeah.
It almost looks like you can see that it's got a bit of chip out of it.
Oh, it's definitely got a chip out of it. There's a little chunk missing from the nose of that board, but she's in high spirits. She came out off that and she was all smiles, and it's just great to see.
Oh, I love it. I mean, she's in such a great position at the moment, regardless of her result out of this quarterfinal, but she's now got that momentum pushing her through to want to take another victory out here. She's back into the yellow jersey out of results and how the situation has unfolded with the women's rankings today. She's walked into Margaret River in a great position. She's found her maiden victory on the championship tour earlier this season at Sunset Beach at a wave that she knows so well. And she's just really starting to find that rhythm and find her place here as one of the best in women's surfing.
Yeah, she's she's really feeling that she belongs at the very top, in that top echelon, and wearing the yellow jersey, it'll be the second time within 3 events that she's worn it, and that'll be amazing.
In that last heat, we saw a very tough battle go down between Joanne Defay and Sally Fitzgibbons. Joanne Defay getting the upper hand.
Joanne, amazing fight back in that heat. It seemed like Sally had the momentum at the start, and then, you know, getting those good scores at the end.
I didn't start very well. It's really tricky to know which one are the good ones, because some are like getting wide into the channel, but it feels like it's going to be a good one. So I got a little bit lost at the beginning, and at some point I was like, okay, you're just gonna trust that there would be opportunities, and I got that really good ones. So happy I got this one. And then after I was just back in the game, so it was a bit easier and less stressful. So yeah.
And this is your 5th quarterfinal of the year, so you're super, super consistent, amazing. But you obviously want to make the quarterfinal. I can confirm with you right now that you have made the cut.
Oh yeah? Nice. Wow, this is a big release, obviously. I kind of expected to, because I think like mathematically I could have dropped, but then sorry, I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, I'm happy to made it. It was definitely a tough hit. I didn't want to be that one with Sally. I have a lot of respect for her, and but it's what it is. We got to do a job, and I hope I can just make it count this time.
Amazing. We'll let you get ready for the quarterfinal coming up soon. Thanks, Joanne.
Great to hear from Joanne, getting the job done, solidifying qualification, and now she can finally feel freed up to just surf and put on a good performance here at Margaret River.
Well, Joanne, I think that combination of manoeuvres she did was the pretty much very close to the best of the day. She was in her element on that wave. It was a bigger wave. It was power meets power. Her timing was sensational, and yeah, she ripped in. It was a great performance.
Great performance from Defay. Love seeing her find another wave in the excellent score here at Margaret River. That's something that's a really tough thing to find, that not every competitor in the draw has found success in at specific venues. Brisa Hennessy, she's made finals day a couple of times here in her 3 different appearances at Margaret River, making it into those quarterfinals back in 2019. She had a 9th place finish in 2021, and now she's back into that finals picture with the quarters result here in 2022. But she has yet to find an excellent score at Margaret River. We'll see if she's able to find one today out at main break with a nice drawn out cut back to kick things off.
Yeah, it was a smaller wave, and I think she's just looking to maybe, get something in that, say that 5-5 range, that good solid mid score. She's not happy with that 4-point ride, because right now, she needs a 7.67. It's close to an excellent score. She'd like to bring that down a bit and maybe just need a 6 or a 6.5.
Yeah, certainly to decrease that requirement would be a great move at this stage. With still 20 minutes on the clock, there is plenty of time for her to claw back at Gabriella Bryan. But Gabby, she is the queen of consistency bugs. She walked away with the win for the very first Challenger Series. And with that consistency conversation, out of 4 events on the Challenger Series, she took a 2nd place in 3 of them. 3 final appearances, which was just incredible to witness. A young surfer who's been competing on the qualifying series for a few years now, not entirely fresh to it, but to be able to find the results in those moments that really mattered. And she actually was the first to then qualify for the 2022 Championship Tour out of that Challenger Series by solidifying qualification in the 3rd event, and already knowing heading into Haleiwa that she'd be on the Championship Tour this year.
Yeah, that would have been a great feeling.
A lot of work going in behind the scenes for this young woman. Without a major sponsor backing her for most of her qualifying series campaigns, a lot of community support, a lot of family support specifically to help her get to this sort of appearance on the Championship Tour.
Yeah, the community support would be fantastic, and it's really great to see the whole community getting together to maybe raise some funds. I mean, it's still, without a sponsor, it's still fairly expensive exercise.
The paddle now from Gabby Bryan. Uses priority on this one. Nice looking corner to kick things off with. Smooth linking through into that second turn. And now into that critical finish. Finds the pocket. Checks back to see where Brisa Hennessy is at. Maybe where the next set is rolling through as well. And decides she's going to go for the Red Bull jet ski.
Yeah, I kind of feel that was a little bit of a grommet move. You know, she's a young surfer, and it was time to surf. It's a smaller wave. I thought with priority she might wait for a better one. She surfs it well though. She's looking to improve on a 4.67. She does get 3 pretty slick turns in here. I like that last one. So look, she really did surf it well and turn it into something. I was just surprised that she went for a smaller wave with priority with that 7-point ride under the belt.
Scores to drop through for Gabby Bryan. Before we get to those, an interview with Sally Fitzgibbons, arguably the biggest upset of the Women's Championship Tour going down before the midseason cut.
Sal, such an unfortunate loss there. You know, you had so much momentum at the start of the heat, and then Joanne just coming back at the end.
Yeah, exactly. You can't count out, especially Joey. We've had some mental battles. And yeah, I felt I had the run of the momentum at the start of the heat, and then it was similar to last year actually, and Steph turned it with a 9, and this year Joey turned it with that 8, and it's been really inconsistent. So, you know, I thought maybe that one wasn't going to come. So one decision away. Like always, surfing just keeps you guessing, but I've had the best time and love coming here to Mugs.
And you know, of all the competitors, for me, I really thought that you could have done it and jumped up and over that cut out of anyone. You know, coming into this event, you needed a huge result. You basically needed a win. So I mean, no one ever counted you out. How are you going to reset and jump on the Challenger Series?
Yeah, I guess I sort of hang my hat on Lozzie, that I put in the work and I feel really prepared that every event I've gone into, I haven't missed an event, I don't think, in the 14 years I've been on tour. So that everyone I've been into, I felt like I've had the capacity to win. And yeah, and sometimes it's just not the case, but I definitely have that deep-seated belief that I'm capable, and I think sometimes, yeah, you can just visualize that moment and visualize it happening, but often it's not the case, and just got to hang on to that feeling though that it is possible and just keep moving forward.
And 1 week to reset before Snapper. Are you pretty excited to get back there?
I'm going into the hungry pit of piranhas. If there's anything to get you out of bed in the morning, it's the next generation. So yeah, I'm going to show up at Snapper. It'll be different. I think there'll be 4 people in the water instead of 2. But yeah, I love to fight. I'm here. I love competing. Love everything about it. So I'm just going to jump into that and do the best I can.
I can't wait to watch your incredible story keep unfolding. You're amazing, Sal. We love you.
And a big hi to everyone back home, everyone around the world, everyone that's supported me for every heat on this tour, and we'll continue to do so on the Challenger. But I really appreciate you, and yeah, let's keep going, Team 89. Yoo-hoo.
Class act, Sally Fitzgibbons.
Well said, Laura. An absolute class act from Sally Fitzgibbons, and shocking to see her now off of the championship tour, Bugs, after 14 years. That's 108 events for Sally Fitzgibbons, 12 wins within her career. And actually, I think this is one of the coolest stats behind Sally Fitzgibbons. The highest average heat score career-wise goes to Carissa Moore with a 14.15. You would expect a Steph Gilmore, a Tyler Wright to hold the next best. It's Sally Fitzgibbons with the second highest average heat score in her career, sitting in at a 13.74, outranking Steph Gilmore, outranking Tyler Wright in the World Champions. It is such a surprise that Sally Fitzgibbons doesn't have a world title next to her name, but I wouldn't counter back to requalify through the Challenger Series and to take the opportunity to match up against these great surfers like Gabriella Bryan on that last wave and Brisa Hennessy now out in the lineup, and to see Sally make the comeback and jump on to the 2023 Championship Tour. Yeah,
look, there's a lot of legacy in Sally, her performance over her career, 14 years. Here's a wave by Brisa Hennessy. This is a clean wave. She waited for this one, and she gets a 6.53. Just buried the nose of that board. She snapped it under the lip there, 6.53. It's his first turn on the open face. It's just a beautiful looking wave.
What a beautiful arc to kick things off.
Yeah, and this is the wave that came. It's She used her priority really well on this one, I felt.
Smart surfing from Brisa, and you'll notice she's now got a hole in her wetsuit. She's definitely got some damage done to the nose of that board, and I think that roll over the bricks on that last finishing section, she really took a beating on.
She took a big beating, and luckily she's got that rubber, you know, between her and the reef, and I thought that there was enough buffer there that she used her reef experience to perfection and got over that. And look, she probably did, because she's not cut up. She's got a little chunk out of the wetsuit. She's got a little chunk out of the nose of the board. But otherwise, she handled it so well and then went out there and got herself back in this heat. She only needs a 6 now.
Scores in for that last wave. It's a 6.53. Jumps through as Brisa's highest wave of the heat. But Gabriella Bryan, the rookie, still sitting in the lead in the quarterfinals. We're going to go to a Bonsoy brew break and bring you back the action right after this.
I love the aspect of like bringing people together through food and just sitting at a table and talking about life. And I think that's really enriching to me, because I really believe like we're here for connection. Back when I was younger, I used to be doing gymnastics and dirt biking, and those sports you kind of have to have no hesitation. So I think that's where a huge point of my confidence and believing in myself and doing those things helped me with surfing.
It's so cool to see, you know, the younger generation just already taking part in initiatives like this. That's just key to a beautiful future and a sustainable coastline.
Help us preserve the future of our sport. To learn more, go to weareoneocean.org.
Quarterfinals are underway here at the Margaret River Pro. The women's event has been on fire today, kicking off with the elimination round this morning, followed by men's elimination round, then straight through those women's round of 16. And taking a look at the final bracket here, Bugs, into the women's quarterfinals. Gabriella Bryan, Brisa Hennessy. We've got some big matchups coming up with only 2 spots left on the cut line for the women's side. Molly Picklum, Bronte Macaulay, and Isabella Nichols are going for those last 2 spots if they can go through farther in the draw than Malia Manuel and Gabriella Bryan.
Wow, that's amazing. So Gabriella Bryan is just in at this moment.
She's currently sitting at number 10 on the rankings. So she's got that spot, but she's going to have to continue through past this quarterfinal, through to the semis, and even to the finals, really, to secure that spot.
Yeah, I just feel that she's kind of allowed Brisa back into this. You know, she really had the dominant position. She had that 7. She did do well. She got that 5.5 as her backup on that smaller wave. She got that bettered her 4.67. But then Brisa was out there and got that bomb, got the 6.53, and now she's back in this heat. And she has priority.
It's pretty crazy thinking about that list of names of surfers that still have that opportunity to make it in above the cut line with those 2 spots. For Molly, for Bronte, Isabella, and Gabriella, they all have control of that still. They're in the draw, they're in these quarterfinals, and they have the opportunity to keep making it through. Malia Manuel, however, has been knocked out of competition. She's currently sitting on the live rankings at number 9, but it's out of her control. She's unable to keep herself in the mix, and it really will depend on how the rest of the surfers go in the draw.
And Malia, she lost a desperately close heat. She lost a heat on the last wave. It was a 3 judges to 2 decision. Like the panel was split, and it was a really tight loss in the end. So yeah, there was a lot riding on that.
Bugs, what do you do in that situation when it comes down and you know it was so close? How does a surfer bounce back from something like that?
Well, I mean, well, first of all, you know, this hasn't played out yet. I mean, what happens is that it is not in her control. She needs things to happen in her favour now. So that went against her. Now she needs a bit of luck for things to go for her. And we've seen a lot of that today as well.
Absolutely. She would be hoping that these surfers that have already made the cut, like a Brisa Hennessy, Joanne Defay, that are in above that cut line already, Courtney Conlogue as well, that they would continue advancing through.
And we don't know exactly how far each one of them's got to get to knock Malia out. I'm not myself sure on how deep into the tournament each of those individuals is going. We do know that Isabella's got a long way to come. Sally had a long way to come back. She's now not in the picture.
Bronte and Molly as well would have a long way to come because they were sitting low in those rankings coming into Margaret River. But it's exciting. I mean, there's so much on the line today coming into conversation now for the women's, the gritty end of competition into the quarterfinals. We're going to have the same conversations developing when the men's draw gets back underway.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a crazy finish here at Margaret River.
That's going to be nuclear.
Quarterfinal number 1 in the lineup, Gabriella Bryan. She is sitting in the lead. Brisa Hennessy, though, with priority and really starting to fight back. Getting that 6.53 for Brisa has set that tone back into her favor, although she is sitting in that second position at the moment. As we take a look at the Harvey Norman recap, for Gabriella Bryan, got off and found herself a 7-point ride early on.
Yeah, she's certainly got the potential to get big points. She's got such an aggressive attack, and she's just relentless in that. She'll just look section after section, and you know, she got a 7 there. It wasn't even really a bomb. And here's this smaller wave she got a 5-5 on. She's just surfing so well. You know, she's not on the best waves, and she's surfing so well.
She's been surfing well all day. Brisa Hennessy has found the answer back, though, and decreased that requirement with this last one dropping into that high 6 range.
Yeah, this is a bigger, cleaner wave and pretty high degree of difficulty. She only got 2 moves, but they were majors.
She's now chasing that 5.98 to take the advancing position over Gabriella Bryan. Now remember, Brisa Hennessy has jumped into that number 1 spot on the rankings. She's now going to be holding that yellow jersey heading into G-Land, so she's safe in that conversation. Where Gabriella Bryan is right on the bubble.
She's right on the bubble. Like, now, after Gabrielle got that 5-5, she went out there, she got priority again, and then she paddled and she took a really crumbly wave, and she only got like a 1.93. And that one really opened the door up for Brisa to get that first priority. So even though there has been a couple little mistakes, I think, that Gabriella has made, and it just comes with that experience of managing a heat with priority. And it's so easy to, you know, when you're young and you just see a wave, you want to surf. But she positioned herself well for this one because she's inside of Brisa. So if anything that Brisa doesn't take, Gabriella, it'll be fair game. But there's a pretty solid looking wave coming here.
Great looking set rolling through. Brisa's going to go on the first. Nice carve to kick things off. Eyeing up that second section, another big open face wrap. Now throws that stall in to read this inside double up section. Puts on a really powerful touch and continues to negotiate right in front of the bricks. Puts that tap to finish. In her corner, her mom, her dad, Mike and Katie there. Serena, Connor Coffin's partner as well, cheering her on.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the outside work. It's whether she got a major maneuver on the outside. She got a series of pretty decent turns in here. Now she needs a 6-point ride.
Scores to come through from the judges. We have yet to see a single score drop from the 5 in the panel. Gabriella Bryan is now sitting out the back with priority.
So you got to start comparing this now. This wave here, so that it was a kind of a bit of a soft first turn, I felt. This turn's a lot stronger. and she comes back off the whitewater, but similar turns, no major pocket. And she does some good work on the inside here, but the wave's really quite small now. But they'll be comparing to that 6.53, and I just don't see it.
It's really that horizontal surfing on those first two turns that the judges would be paying close attention to.
I believe so. And there's a score. It's a 5.07. It's just, she just didn't get that big pocket on the outside that she surfs so well when she's presented with a vertical face. You know, she carves up.
Yeah, beautiful, smooth surfing coming through from Brisa on that last one, but it's just not going to offer that critical section required on the outside. Still chasing a 5.98 to take the lead away from Gabriella. And now Gabby sitting with priority. She's back in the driving seat. She's also the only surfer currently in the water to have found an excellent score out there. In their elimination round this morning, she found that 8.33, so we know she knows she's capable of getting huge scores and putting an even bigger requirement on Brisa Hennessy.
I guess this is one quarterfinal where it's nearly a win-win. Like, Brisa Hennessy is going to come out of this and she's going to go to G-Land with the yellow jersey. That's a win. Gabriella Bryan could actually, well, she actually needs to win the heat to maintain her position, and it's how she plays priority in these last 2.25 minutes.
It's going to be these moments where she hasn't had that much time surfing in woman-on-woman heats. She's new to the championship tour, competing on the qualifying series, competing on the challenger series. It's not that often until you make it into those final rounds that you have the opportunity to surf against just one other surfer in the lineup. And there's so much strategy that comes down to it. And now for the rookie, Gabriella Bryan. She's also the only rookie currently sitting above that cut line in the number 10 position. We do have Molly Picklum still in the draw, coming up in quarterfinal number 2 with an opportunity to get back up there. But Kaipo, you're in the water, and it is decision time for Gabriella Bryan. All the pressure is on her shoulders.
I'm out the back with Dometic, Shannon, and you know what? Right now, this is the decision time. You got the lead, the clock's ticking, you got priority. This is a test for the freshman on her heat IQ. And it's going to be decision time right now, and she's going to have to make the right decision to close out this heat. And I see a couple of waves coming through, so the decision are going to be made right now. It looks like she's going to let Brisa go on this little inside one. She doesn't get it, so the clock continues to tick down.
Oh man, all the pressure there. So Gabby now moving just to the inside of Brisa because she realized Brisa could have gotten into that one.
Yeah, she could have. It just backed off a bit, and so whether, you know, Gabriella sort of knew that, I'm not sure, but she's positioned herself in that sort of checkmate position where she's in control.
Down to 40 seconds on the clock. A couple of coaches in micro for Brisa and Reynos Hayes for Gabby. Feeling very proud of their surfers, but it's all on the line now, and Gabby's going to use priority. She's going to have to go on this one to keep Brisa off of it, and she's going to look for that connection with the lip on the first turn. Out into a nice clean snap for the second. Comes in for a critical finish on the third. Checks her watch. She just slides away on the inside and now waits to see, will Brisa Hennessy have an opportunity? With 5 seconds on the board, Gabby did so well to take off on that last one and hold Brisa off.
Yeah, that was a job well done all round.
Smart surfing and a great performance from Gabriella Bryan. An incredible turn there from Brisa Hennessy, just letting that pressure out. And the official results, Gabby Bryan advancing through into the semifinals, keeping herself above the cut line. Brisa Hennessy will be walking through to G-Land with the yellow jersey, but will be out of the conversation here at the Margaret River Pro. Molly Picklum, Courtney Conlogue hitting the lineup right after this. Courtney Conlogue, the adrenaline junkie, out in the lineup up against Molly Picklum, the rookie, and Courtney getting the first opportunity to lay it down with a huge layback to kick things off. Into a second great snap, lets that tail loose. Now linking it together into the inside and keeps those fins safe.
Yeah, nice dismount.
Shannon Hughes alongside Wayne Rabbit Bartholomew, the 1978 world champion, in the booth to call the action for our second women's quarterfinal. Courtney Conlogue, we have to assume, has the momentum here, that she's a previous event winner as a championship tour event. Also, when the event ran as a qualifying series, she won twice out here at Margaret River. So she's got all of that experience to draw from. But the rookie in Molly Picklum, she dropped a 9.17 in her last heat against Tyler Wright.
It does make for an interesting showdown, but let's face it, Courtney came into Australia with enormous pressure. Enormous pressure. She was so far back in the rankings, and now she's surfing free.
And she opened up with this one. It's a 7.83.
Oh my gosh, she's really surfing free. It makes all the difference in the world. The pressure is right off. She has made the cut, and now she's looking to move right up the top of the rankings. Get into that picture of the final five.
Great looking layback to kick things off. Molly Picklum now with a big ask in front of her in live action. The rookie finding some momentum, engaging that rail, linking together a few turns, finds a challenging section on the inside, and she'll kick over the ledge. Now chasing a 7.47 as Courtney Conlogue opened up with a near excellent 7.83 to get her campaign underway here in the quarterfinals. And that's absolutely it, Bugs. As you said, Courtney Conlogue has made the cut, making it into the quarterfinals here, secured her place into G-Land and into the rest of the season, as well as the start of the 2023 championship tour year. So she is fully freed up to just let loose. Molly Picklum, on the other hand, came into this event ranked number 16, had a huge ask in front of her. She's already climbed up to number 11 on the rankings. That is her current live ranking. But she's got a big ask in front of her to actually get above that cut line.
Oh, wow. That's a huge task right now. And, wow, what a great start. Courtney, a 7.83. Well, that's the dream start to a heat. And looks like on the outside, look at this wave.
With another great opportunity in front of her. Love that hand drag on the bottom turn. A fat section that she negotiates through with speed, power, and flow to find that reform now through to the inside. And she's going to go for a big finish. She'll fall out just before the bricks as we wait for her to resurface. There she is, about to take a little bit of a line, and she'll paddle through to that Red Bull jet ski. Scores to come through now, and Molly Picklum has opened up with a 5.67.
Yeah, not a bad opener for Molly, and I feel that wave of Courtney there, it just didn't deliver on the promise. It went a bit fat. It didn't really hit that, you know, it didn't have the contours hitting the reef properly. There was no wrap, there was no pocket.
Similar to a couple of those waves we saw Brisa Hennessy take off on.
Yeah, true, exactly that. See, this wave looks so good, but it's got that soft shoulder straight away, and it really limits the scoring potential when you're just doing these roundhouse cutties. And then, of course, came the big section that also hit the wrong part of the reef for her. It was going to go straight onto that shelf. So that wave just awry. It just did not work out at all. 2.83.
Courtney.
Oh, sorry, Shannon, but I was just going to say, when we saw that long-range view of that big peak, I was going, oh, here we go. This could be an excellent wave. And how's that? It was a dud.
Yeah, it really seemed like it was going to be a wave that she was going to be able to unleash on. She hasn't actually had any excellent waves in this event, which is surprising because in her career of competing here at Margaret River, she has had 14 excellent waves. So we'd be looking for her to find her way into that sort of a wave with the big scoring potential on offer as we see another set starting to roll through.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to say that it's been more of a grinding performance by Courtney, whereas what's been more important is to get the W.
Yeah, Courtney Conlogue would be so hungry to find herself with another victory out here and another championship tour win to her campaign. In her career, in her years on tour, she has had 12 wins on the championship tour. As we see a great looking set rolling through. Kaipo, how's it looking from the lineup?
Well, we got the boil happening out here, indicating the set coming through. Really important where it hits the reef, Shannon, and it is going to be go time. Can't get in it, so a little bit out of position. The lower tide's kind of playing with the surfers right now. There's these wide ones, like you saw Courtney get, and that wave really did not hit the reef properly, like Bug said, and really didn't have a lot to offer. It had size, but not the shape.
Talk to us, Kaipo, about being in the lineup with those surfers. Is it easy to differentiate the waves that are going to hit the reef well, or is it actually a bit of a gamble when they're paddling into it? Is it hard for them to tell?
You can see the tapered ones, kind of. You want the ones, they're like inside, double up, long wall to them, and they almost look like maybe closeouts, but then, you know, that's when you get your boogie on, and they don't. You got a lot of wall to work with, and that's how you get the big scores.
Love it. It's definitely going to be those waves that open up and allow these surfers, Bugs, to really find that critical wall to work with.
Yeah, well, as Kaipo said, you know, you can get the ones that flop over on the outside and go off the reef, and the best ones are the ones that come in. They've got a bit of an A-frame, but then they come right onto the reef, and they're steep. You can come from behind the bowl, and they keep standing up.
25 minutes on the clock. This could be one of those waves that stands up all the way through. Courtney uses priority on it, draws off the bottom into that lip line to start with. Goes a little soft on the start, but then opens into a very heavy section to finish off.
Now, while Kaipo is giving us a rundown on what things were looking like in the lineup, they took priority off Molly Picklum and they swapped it over to Courtney. So they deemed that Molly made enough effort for that outside crumbly one before, and she lost priority, and Courtney Conlogue was given priority and used it.
It's those moments that come into play for the surfers that have that experience where they really know how to use priority in the right moments. That wave selection coming in so important for Courtney as well, being a surfer that has spent so many years, so many hours out here in a Jersey.
Definitely, and Molly, I'm not sure what did happen there. She paddled for it's touch and go whether she really tried enough to get that, but they deemed it wasn't. She took one stroke too many, perhaps. Touch and go on that one. I'm not sure. Yeah, that was a tough call on Molly Picklum, and that wave there was a bit of a safety one for Courtney. She didn't completely open up, but that 517 to go with the 783, pretty handy.
Yeah, a great way to build on that score line, having kicked off with that 7.83. Then she had that 2.83, which would have just been nudging in the back of her mind, knowing she really needed to replace that to then put the pressure onto Molly Picklum. Molly now chasing a big score of a 7.34.
Yeah, the equation is just extended. So now she's up in the 7.5 point range. And, well, I tell you, she got a 9 in her last heat, so Courtney would be well aware of this capability here.
As we see live action with Molly Picklum, uses priority on this one, drives through that first carve, opens up for a second. Now creating her own speed as she comes through to this inside, looks for the lip line and puts on the finish right in front of the rocks. Just negotiates around on the inside.
Wow, it's a super low tide. And on that occasion, that wave had that taper and it did come from deep. But to me, it kind of tapered off too much. And this is the thing about Margaret's and Mainbreak. I mean, you know, every wave is slightly different. No two waves hit this reef the same. And that really, it can wrong foot you so easily, or you can be absolutely in sync.
Now having a look at the live rankings as we wait for that score to drop through for Molly Picklum, Molly realistically needs a second place finish or better to have a chance to jump inside the cut line, depending on where Gabriella Bryan falls through the rest of this event. As we take a look at this one, and we've got a score dropping through now, Bugs.
Yeah, it's a 4 because this is a really flat dud section right through here. There wasn't enough on this to get into that, 5 and 6 point range.
Molly is sitting 1 seat behind Gabriella on the cut line at the moment. Gabby at number 10, Molly at number 11. And Gabriella Bryan, with a great performance, locks herself a spot into the semifinal and keeps herself just above the cut line.
Gabby, fighting hard to keep this tour dream alive. You started so well then, and you held on throughout.
Yeah, I am fighting really hard to stay on the CT. It's my biggest goal right now. And yeah, I started off strong. I made a couple mistakes, and I'm really lucky that it worked out in my favor.
And into the semi-finals, so that's amazing for your campaign here today to make that cut. You came in at 11th, you're now in 10th, and there's only 3 girls that are still in the draw that can jump you with huge results. So you have the control still.
Yeah, all I know is I just got to keep making heats. I try not to look at the points or anything like that. I know I have a lot of surfing left to do, and I'm ready, and I'm really hope we get some good waves and keep it going.
And I mean, your surfing just suits Margaret River so much. Just like Sunset, you're so incredible in that big open surf. How much do you love it?
I love it. Margaret River is it suits my style so much. Powerful, raw, open ocean. Like yesterday, it felt like sunset out there. It was big, and yeah, I really love this wave, and hopefully we get some more good ones.
Yeah, well, it looks like the wave's going to be amazing next week. We can't wait to see you out there in the semi-finals, Gabby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So happy for Gabriella Bryan making it through into the semi-finals. That's her second semi-final of her championship tour experience this year. At Sunset, the wave that they're just talking about, she walked away with a 3rd place finish there, went down to Malia Manuel, who went down in that 2nd place position to Brisa Hennessy. So for Gabriella to know that this spot has those similarities to the one event that she's found some great success in, it's definitely working to her favor, Bugs. Oh,
that is such a confidence booster, and there are elements to main break and even just the southwest to Sunset Beach. Yeah, particularly this wave here, it just handles it. It's this big finger of reef that goes further out, a little bit like Sunset. And the bigger it gets, it just goes out to a big peaking situation, particularly on the right. The left, a completely different scenario. From the beach, you've got this view, and it looks like this massive big left coming through. The right, it's a cut-off right. It's a short right. I think, as Philippe Toledo said yesterday, you need a board for the takeoff, but then you need a short board for the rest of the ride.
That's such a good way to describe the challenge of board selection for a wave like Margaret River.
Yeah, because the left, from the beach, it holds its wall all the way through into the valley, but once you go past the takeoff, it goes off the reef, and there's no vertical pockets. The right, you get the right one, and it does have a bit of a Sunset Bowl element to it.
So much scoring potential on offer when the right wave rolls through. Molly Picklum will be waiting for that opportunity. You can see her there waving her hands at the back of the lineup, wanting to know the requirements. She is currently chasing that 7.34 to better her best result on the championship tour so far, which was a 5th place also at Sunset Beach. So both Molly and Gabriella finding that momentum at a wave similar to this and looking for that spot now to meet her up in the semifinals. Courtney Conlogue currently sitting in the lead, and with that last one we saw Brisa Hennessy go down, but she's going to be carrying that yellow jersey nonetheless. And we'll get back to Brisa Hennessy in just a moment. The ocean has gone so quiet, Bugs, as Courtney Conlogue is still sitting out there with priority. We're going to go back down to Brisa Hennessy.
Brisa, all smiles, all class. You had an amazing campaign here at Margie's, and happy to let you know that you're back in the yellow jersey.
Oh wow, yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I think getting absolute carnage on the Margaret River rocks hopefully made up for that. I don't know, but I've got tears everywhere. You know, my butt. Yeah, we won't go there.
Yeah, just to let you guys know at home, Brisa has to wear a towel at the moment because she's got a huge hole in her wetsuit from the Reef, which is huge commitment. You've been amazing throughout. How much do you love Margaret River?
I love it so much. Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. I think it's the epitome of raw, wild, beautiful, and challenge. I feel like it challenges you so much, and you grow so much, I feel like, after coming to this event. You feel like, I don't know, you get a little bit more confident out in bigger waves, confident more on dry reef, and so hopefully I carry that onto G-Land, and I got my Rip Curl booties, so yeah, let's go.
And what's next for you? Are you going to head to Snapper Rocks and do the challenges, or just go and decompress and get ready for G-Land?
Yeah, I'm going to do snappers. I'm super excited for that. I haven't competed there in a CT contest yet. I surfed D-Ba the first year they ran, and they didn't have it at Snapper, so haven't surfed there ever in my life, which has been like a bucket list thing, so definitely going there for sure.
Oh, well, all the best, and yeah, we'll see you at G-Land. We'll see you at Snapper, but also at G-Land.
Great to hear from Brisa, and she'll definitely be needing a new wetsuit after that roll over the reef. But excited to hear, too, that, you know, with the loss here, she's going to stay on Australian soil and get an opportunity to keep the jersey on, paddle out at one of the best waves of all time at Snapper.
Yeah, that'll be fun to have Brisa at Snapper, and she'll add a lot to the tournament, a lot of colour, and she, you know, just the fact that she's got the yellow jersey in the major leagues will add some excitement to the field.
She's put together such an incredible performance this year. It's just been a pleasure to watch her really come to life and to find her place amongst that top 5 conversation here on the Women's Championship Tour. Conversations that Courtney Conlogue has been in the past, and that Molly Picklum has always had dreams of, and is so hungry to find herself in. 15 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. We'll be right back with more action. We'll find out if Molly Picklum is able to take away a win.
West is best because the coastline, the scenery, the surf, the food, the landscape, I mean, everything is just crispy and fresh.
It's one of the most beautiful places on tour. To be a surfer here, you got so many different options. You can never really get bored. Waves that you take off on and you're just going so fast with no effort is kind of my favorite type of surfing. Yeah, West is the best.
West is best for now.
Steph Gilmore will be coming up in quarterfinal number 3 against the local superstar in Bronte Macaulay. And that is going to be, honestly, a tough one for Steph to take a win away. Bronte has been on fire.
Yeah, Bronte has got the sensational backhand. She showed glimpses of it at Bells, and here she is at a home break. She said it earlier on that she'd like to go all the way.
She definitely wants to go all the way. Her mom, Lorraine, her sister, Laura, were both so excited that the competition was running on the weekend because they've got jobs. They've had to work all week. They were just so thrilled to be down here, to be able to meet her on the shoreline after that last victory out of the round of 16. Her dad, Dave, of course, always alongside, and now her partner in the equation as well is just setting Bronte up for this real momentum coming into the last couple of events.
Well, it's tools down on a Saturday afternoon here at Margaret River to watch the local gal take on a 7-time world champ. That's coming up next.
It's going to be a huge matchup, but before we get to that, we will find out if the 2015 Margaret River Pro champion in Courtney Conlogue can hold Molly Picklum off of another excellent score, off of a tough heat going into the semifinals. Courtney Conlogue currently sitting in the lead with a 7.83 and a 5.17. Molly Picklum, the Pickles, sitting with priority. She is chasing a 7.34 though. Joe Turpel, there is so much action going on today. It's hard to keep up with it all.
Oh, there's been so much emotion, so much excitement as well. As I'm down here on the steps again, it's a little bit quieter this part of the day with a lot of big names getting knocked out. One of the big names knocked out was Tyler Wright earlier because of the devastation that Molly Picklum threw down on the Margaret River main break right. That carve was unbelievable. Glenn Micro Hall, Molly's coach, he said his phone just started blowing up from the likes of 3-time world champ Mick Fanning. All the legends of the sport are chiming in saying that is what we want to see. More of that from Molly Picklum. Connor Coffins, who's in that same stable, was like, that's as good as it gets. He wants to see more of that power from Molly. They see it all the time when they're doing their mock heats in the lead up to big events, and that's what she got to show the world. That 917's given her a lot of confidence, even though that she hasn't found it yet in this heat with Courtney. She is swinging for the fences to try to get a spot into the next round. For Courtney is interesting. Where I'm standing on the stairs, I see her name a couple of times when she won the QS out here. We always know she loves Margaret River main break. The thing is, she's already confirmed she's made the cut for G-Land, for even qualification for next year. Her mom Tracy's on the steps. She actually got the news, decided not to tell Courtney before this heat. She saw her showing the eye of the sea tiger, you know, kind of doing some shadow punches before this heat started. And she's like, I don't want to mess with that. I'll enjoy the relief. And she actually shed a tear knowing that Courtney's solidified for the back end, but she didn't want to mess with that focus as she was preparing to compete on one of her favorite waves on tour.
Wow, Joe, that's such an incredible bit of knowledge to know that Courtney Conlogue is out in the lineup right now, still chasing down a victory to try and qualify, most likely.
It's interesting when you look at Molly Picklum kind of in the back end of the rankings. You know, she's just swinging for gold here. She wants to go all the way to that final to see where she ends up. For Conlogue, she's already looking like she will be running through the rest of the season. She doesn't know that though, so that little edge she has in this heat, getting that high 7+ score, is showing that she's still surfing for a spot on tour. Maybe Tracy will let her in on the news that she can relax a little bit and enjoy the rest of the season.
She'll absolutely have to find out coming out of the lineup. Molly Picklum with that opportunity to really try and stake her claim in her rookie season on tour. But for Courtney, I just love the fact, Bugs, that right now she's unaware of the fact that she's already made that midseason cut.
Well, that's a beautiful thing, and our Field Marshal Joe has just delivered the good oil on both these quarterfinal combatants. As we see Molly Picklum, she's got a bit of work to do. Clean looking wave, Shannon.
Links it together, just narrowly holds on to that second section. I was really hoping we were going to see her just find that rail line. Molly now through to the inside with scores to come. She is chasing a big score to get that requirement in a 7.34 to take out Courtney Conlogue. It is a big ask. She's had an opportunity, but now priority is going to be sitting with Courtney Conlogue again as we wait for scores to come through for the rookie. And it's been an interesting year to watch Molly Picklum on tour. She took out a great victory. She was the QS champion for the Australia-Oceania region in 2021, which qualified her for the Challenger Series. But then coming through the end of the Challenger Series, she was actually one spot shy of qualification for the Championship Tour. As we see Courtney Conlogue looking at this one, goes for the layback to kick things off. Now into a second powerful engagement of the rail. She'll fall out of that turn. So Molly Picklum just missed qualification for the Championship Tour by a single spot on the Challenger Series. And then the 16-year-old Katie Simmers from California decided not to take her place on this year's Championship Tour, to stay at home, to focus on school, to hang out with her friends, and just continue improving her surfing. and that opened up the door for Molly Picklum to walk into a rookie season on the championship tour at just 19 years of age.
Yeah, that's an amazing double story right there, and she's really made the most of it, Molly. And now she's battling to try to stay alive and not go back to the Challenger Series. But, well, we haven't had someone, you know, give up their spot since Taj Burrow way back when, and it's such a sign of confidence.
Oh, it's amazing. It's going to be really cool to see what comes of Katie Simmers and that conversation around her jumping back into the Challenger Series this year. And will she take it? Should she get that qualification again? She's certainly one of those surfers that we expect to really kind of change where women's surfing is even sitting in that progression conversation. Molly Picklum as well is one of those, and it's a really cool, it was really special for me to see that handoff from Katie, being one of the best aerialists in the women's field, and that Grom generation coming through, hand off her spot to Molly Picklum, who is another one of the best aerialists in the women's field worldwide.
Yeah, no, it was a good trade-off, and certainly Molly, you know, took advantage of that situation and culminates in her today, putting on, well, probably the most single best carving turn of the women's tour this year. You know, even had Mick Fanning gushing and ringing up and going, my gosh, that's what it's all about. What an inspirational moment for the young rookie.
What a moment to take away from her opening season on the championship tour. And she's not out of the equation yet. She's sitting with priority. She's chasing down a 7.34. She's already done better than that today. So should she find a wave with the opportunity, she could be looking to take down Courtney Conlogue as we take a look at the Harvey Norman recap. And Courtney, those laybacks taking her through to a lead at the moment.
Yeah, this was a 7.83. What a fantastic start for Courtney Conlogue. This wave here, there's a 5.67 for Molly, and this got her campaign going, just sort of got her into the frame. There was a real turning point in this heat when Molly lost priority, though. That was a turning point because Courtney gets this wave here, and it's a bigger wave. She didn't get much on the outside in this second turn here. It was a bit of a safety turn, but she made sure of it. It was a sort of a section that maybe Molly could have really attacked.
Yeah, it was that moment when Courtney secured that 5.17 that then put that big ask onto Molly Picklum as we take a look at the Western Australia flight cam. Here you can really see how low that tide is drawn out over the reef at Main Break Margaret River. You can see all those jet skis out there ready to get the surfers back into the lineup and to keep an eye on things, to keep Laura and Kaipo busy and active out in the water reporting for us. It's been so fun to be able to hear some of their takes on the action from the lineup this week, and then to get that firsthand experience from each of the surfers coming out into those post-heat interviews and just getting to unleash on some really great waves out there. Kaipo, you're in the lineup, and it's been a really exceptional draw here between Courtney and Molly.
Yeah, it has, but you know, Courtney Conlogue, and Bugs pointed out, it really was that switch in priority that changed the tempo of this heat and the structure of this heat. And I like Joe's story as well, that Courtney, you know, she's got the eye of the sea tiger right now. She doesn't know she's safe. She's still attacking everything. She's still showing the aggression and stuff. And we know that she is a really hardy competitor.
Oh, she's such a hardy competitor out there. Not only did she take the win in 2015 for the championship tour event here, she also back in 2011 and 2012 took out the victory on the qualifying series. So 3 huge wins in her career, Bugs, right here at Margaret River.
Yeah, she's certainly got her credentials at Margaret's.
A big set rolling through the lineup now, down to 3 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock. Both women will have to duck dive and get out of the way. But even with this angle now, you can see how slopey and soft that wave was from the outside section.
That's right. It broke right off the reef, and it wouldn't have offered much of a situation. So they're hanging tough. They're in in the pit, so to speak, and where the coming from behind the section on that takeoff on the A-frame is the ultimate here, and then it opens up. You come from behind, and then you've got a massive pocket, a sheer face, and
well, when competition wraps up after the women's quarterfinals, be sure to tune in and catch Make or Break. It is now streaming across Apple TV Plus worldwide and it gives you a great opportunity to see all the ins and outs that went down on the 2021 WSL Championship Tour. So plenty of surfing you've already been able to watch today, but an even better inside look at what really went on behind the scenes should you tune in as soon as competition is finished today for Make or Break. It's great to have that crew alongside already confirmed bugs for the 2022 season. They took a bit of a gamble showing up at Pipeline, not sure if it would get picked up for a second season. They were trailing Kelly Slater, and he went on to a victory, and it just opened up the door for such an incredible bit of storytelling that Apple TV then bought in for a whole second season.
How could you not?
Down to 2 minutes on the clock. And what an incredible look down at the playing field here at Main Break Margaret River. And it's going to be a tough ask at this stage for the Pickles, Molly Picklum. She's sitting with priority, but she's had a few opportunities, 4 waves caught. Her best score, a 5.67, backed it up with just a 4.00. She's got a 3.93 she's throwing away, and that opening ride of a 0.37. Now chasing her biggest score of the heat to take an advancing position. And an interesting call from Courtney Conlogue to find a left. Great opening turn, goes in for that second. Now mostly just checks back to see what Molly Picklum is doing out of the top of the lineup.
Yeah, well, she could have been fishing around there to see if Molly would have a bit of a sniff at that one, but she might be having a go at this one with a minute remaining. Will she get it? No, she won't. So if Courtney was in the lineup, she would have regained priority because Molly would have lost it on that one, but it doesn't seem like there's anything major coming. I see a few lines a bit further out, but with under a minute remaining, I can't see any more action in this one.
Seems to be in the favor of Courtney Conlogue as the ocean has gone quiet with about 45 seconds on the clock. Courtney with 7 quarterfinal appearances here at Margaret River. Only 2 semifinal appearances before now, so advancing through this round, she'll be into her 3rd semifinal appearance. Of those 2 she's previously had, she's booked her way into the finals, so she's had successful semifinal berths here at Margaret River. But now an opportunity, 25 seconds on the clock. Molly Picklum with priority, chasing a 7.34. She needs to advance through this heat to keep herself in the equation to jump over the cut line. And with that carve to start, she's now looking eager and hungry as she goes up into the lip on the next section. Holds it together under composure with a great snap to finish. And she's going to ride right onto the reef, putting her body on the line, begging the judges to give her that 7.34.
Well, it was a brilliant effort. She came onto the inside and she snaveled one. And now she's kind of paying the price, but you know, she's handling it pretty well.
She did so well. I love that she had that final opportunity and that she really just went hard.
Yeah, she attacked that wave with everything she had. It was pretty cool, actually. She came onto the inside section and she found this little one on the inside. It's not even that little.
This was a huge moment for her, not just to stay in the heat, but to try and stay on tour.
Yeah, and it was a great effort, like a great last-ditch effort.
Scores through. It's a 6.5. It's her best wave of the heat, but shy of the requirement. That will end the campaign for Molly Picklum in her rookie year on the championship tour. We will be seeing her at Snapper, no doubt, for the Challenger Series. And a very excited Courtney Conlogue books her 3rd semifinal appearance here at Margaret River. Stay tuned. Bronte Macaulay, the local, up against the 7-time world champion Steph Gilmore right after this.
welcome back to the Margaret River Pro, where we just saw Courtney Conlogue make her way into the semifinals. How you feeling?
Pretty thrilled right now. Gosh, today's been a day, just a roller coaster of emotions. I just really want to keep my run alive here, you know, on the tour, and today was pretty much make or break, and just, you know, trusting in the process, having fun, and, you know, swinging and just going for it when I can, you know.
Well, yeah, you know, you said during the break when we got you on the sled that you just wanted to get to G-Land. You're going to get there.
I know. Gosh, I've never surfed G-Land, and I've seen all these photos, seen video of, like, Luke Egan just getting shacked off his head, and I just want to get barreled. So, yeah, I'm doing whatever I got to get there.
Well, we're going to see you in G-Land, but more importantly, we're going to see you in the semifinals. Congratulations.
Thanks so much, Kaipo. You.
Back to you guys.
Well done, Kipes. And Kipes actually got the opportunity to let Courtney know that she had made the cut, had confirmed her position. And that was big for her. She didn't know that going into that heat. She didn't want to know. She just wanted to go out there and really fight for it. A super composed performance from Courtney, who's saved herself in these last couple of events, Rich.
Yeah, it's been an amazing showing from Courtney Conlogue, down to those clutch moments at Bells Beach, where, I mean, she's a favourite at that venue, and also really strong here at Margaret River. So just showing her experience and just her courage and confidence to really surf well in these two events, and she's got the job done.
Yeah, let's get a look at that magic moment where Courtney was told that she'd locked in that spot. It was an awesome reaction.
Yeah, well, I think
Really?
Yeah, you're there. you're gonna. Yeah.
Absolutely buzzing. So that's huge. And Courtney, you know, we had faith in her, Rich, just based on her track record at Bells Beach, one of the most winning surfers in the contest going into that event. And here at Margaret River, she's been so dominant in the past. But, you know, it's easy to sort of bank on that history and look at that, but she had to overcome a real lack of form and big results in the opening start of the season.
When I think back to that first heat, or one of those first few heats down at Bells Beach, and we were down at Winky and she ducked in and she got that wave under priority, that was a pinnacle moment in her comeback campaign, and she got the job done, kept marching through the rounds just with really, really solid surfing.
Speaking of solid surfing, Stephanie Gilmore so strong in that last round, and she now faces off against Bronte Macaulay, who also had a monster victory over Carissa Moore. As you see there, Steph bringing this one through to the inside. Looked a lot more confident in the earlier rounds in this contest.
Yeah, she was a bit touch and go there through Bells, you know, compared to some of the campaigns that we've seen her put together. But she's really fixed it up here at Margaret River, looking sharp, looking confident. And when we went into Bells, you know, you saw Courtney, Steph and Sal right down towards the bottom of the ratings, and you sort of knew that one or two of them were going to get themselves out of trouble, but just by the sheer caliber of their talent. And we knew that one of them was going to perhaps dip out, and unfortunately it's been Sal who we've said goodbye to. And well, Steph, she's well on the way here to just securing her position, and you get the feeling that after this event's done, she'll, if her spot is in fact secured, then she's going to switch her mind to a final five.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's have a look at this first ride for Gilmore.
Yeah, tall looking wave, and she just gets a little bit of downtime as she starts to open up here, cutting back into the foam. A soupy one to start things off. A couple of check turns here. Nothing major at this point. That's a better turn there, and then she just opts to hit the eject button. So it's not going to be a big wave, it's not going to be a high scorer, but at least she's off and running now.
Yeah, still positive signs. This is really where Bronte was able to apply some pressure. Similar situation to Carissa Moore in their heat in the round of 16. It was Carissa taking a smaller ride early on, trying to get a number on the board, only managed a mid-range score. Then Bronte used her priority so wisely. Great wave selection, dropped an excellent number on Carissa, and that was kind of the beginning of the end for the 5-time world champion. So the 7-time world champ needs to stay headstrong here, because she's brought that classic form that saw her go all the way to the semi-finals in this contest last year. And the backhand's just looking so sharp.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice contrast to Steph's fluid style, very smooth on the forehand on the right-handers, and then Bronte sort of matching her for speed and flow, but is able to get that backhand attack right up critical, sending the board vertical. And well, there you have it there, Steph, it's official.
Yeah, huge bounce back from the veterans. I mean, Sally Fitzgibbons, you know, that was a surprise to see her fall out of the mix, but that was a difficult heat that she had up against Joanne Defay. But Stephanie Gilmore has made the cut, and she'll now turn her attention to chasing down that final 5. She snuck in last year with a victory at the final event in Mexico, and, you know, when you consider the schedule and how much success that Steph has had all over the world, you'd like her chances at getting back to the top end.
Yeah, you'd think so. She's just too good. And if she does have a little whiff of potentially winning a world title come September down at Trestles, you know, she's going to be a huge threat indeed.
Still 2 places available when we consider the live rankings. Molly Manuel still hanging in 9th spot at the moment. There can be a change up there. She's out of the event. But Gabriella Bryan, the only rookie still alive who's at this stage sitting in 10th position. She has an opportunity, obviously, to get herself a big result here and lock up a spot, but Molly will be very nervous. Still Isabella Nichols, Bronte Macaulay chasing a win here to potentially overtake her and take that 10th spot.
As long as there's a chance, anything's possible, and big heat coming up. But the winning formula from today has just been wave choice in my mind, watching all these heats unfold. The calibre of surfing has been excellent. There hasn't been too many mistakes in terms of on-wave performance from the men or women. Everyone has just put in really good surfing, but the defining factor for me has been the wave choice, positioning on the peak and being really able to attack those good sections when they pop up. And we saw it in that last heat with Courtney just then. Just really the only difference there was she had the bigger waves, and it gave her the opportunity to put some bigger turns on display, and the judges just ate it up.
Yeah, just wanted to make note too that Isabella and Bronte, if they can both get through this quarterfinal clash, they're going to have a battle for that final position. So that's somewhat good news for Gabriella Bryan and also Molly Manuel on the top side. However, no, one of them is capable of going on and taking one of those spots. So that just means it's very crucial for Gabriella Bryan not to, you know, rest on the result that she's going to bank at this point and try and get into that final herself. If she can overtake Molly will be the surfer that's really stressing watching the bottom half of the draw unfold.
Yeah, well, for Malia, it's out of her control. There's nothing she can do about it now. She's sidelined. She's out of the event, and it really comes down to the fate of what, or the destiny, I should say, of what Gabriella Bryan and Isabella are going to do. And as you mentioned there, Gabriella's got to be careful that she doesn't get into this dangerous mindset where she goes, okay, I'm into the semi-finals. This is all great. I think I've done it. But she hasn't quite done it yet. There's still a little bit of work to do. And, you know, she's surfing so well. I feel like she's put on the best performances of the year so far for her in this event, and she's really clicking into gear.
She is. Bronte Macaulay's got her work cut out. She's got to win the event to have a chance, but the other big thing just in regard to that is the fact that she hasn't made a CT final before. Steph Gilmore, on the other hand, in this situation, has plenty of experiences. When you look at how many quarterfinal clashes they've had, this is the 6th for Bronte. This is the 92nd for Stephanie Gilmore. And Bronte just 3 semi-final clashes, no final yet. 62 semi-final heats for Steph Gilmore. And we know that has resulted in 48 finals, 32 victories.
Oh, my goodness.
It is a huge ask, but she already overcame Carissa Moore. If she can get through this heat, what a tough run on your way to, you know, a necessary win to chase down that position. She would have earned it in the hardest possible way.
Absolutely, and I was just watching her run down for a heat before, and there's so much home crowd support for her here. The whole VIP deck is just full of Bronte Macaulay fans, and they were just screaming their lungs off as she was running down the stairs. And then she went into the public crowd, and they were screaming at her as well. So that alone, you know, she's got so much good energy going her way today. She's got the win over Carissa. That's her own. That's a personal little victory for her. So she'd be feeling confident inside. Then she's got the external support. So the ingredients are there and the surfing's there, and we just need the waves to turn up now.
We sure do. 23 minutes remaining. Still no wave for Bronte. Let's check in with Molly Picklum, who gave us one of the highlight rides of the event of the year.
Molly, giving it an absolute crack and fight till the very end here. You've just shown, you know, throughout the whole, you know, event here and, you know, throughout the year that you have what it takes to be on the tour. Unfortunately, didn't make the cut this year, but, you know, that 9-point ride, you must be so proud of some of your moments this year.
Yeah, for sure, and it's definitely unfortunate to make the cut, but I don't know, I think this year was a good confidence booster all in all, because I do feel like I can match these girls, and yeah, I enjoyed every bit of it, and that's what I'm about, like giving it my all right till the end, and unfortunately I didn't quite get that carve right, so it came at a cost, but yeah, I'm pretty positive, and look, it sucks, but I mean, I'm excited for the next years to come on tour and try and get there again.
Well, you're off to Snapper next week. You're just going to reset and head over there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love competing, so take me to Snapper, take me wherever, I'm stoked. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to get the jersey back on.
And anything that you're going to work on?
I think just go home. Hopefully I get a few days at home to just cruise and take some time off, kind of. Snapper's right there, so it's pretty quick. But improving-wise, I honestly think I'm on a decent path and just keep doing what I'm doing, and it'll start to pay off and things will go my way.
You well and truly are a professional. You've shown that you deserve to be up there with the top, and we're so stoked to hopefully see you here again next year, Molly.
Thanks so much, Laura. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And anyone you'd like to thank?
Especially to like my family and everyone that helps me. Glenn being in my corner all year and giving me the confidence, and yeah, I think to everyone at home watching, thanks so much for all the support, and we'll be back hopefully not too long next year. Let's do it.
See you soon, Molly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah. Just thinking about the performances that she gave us here, you can see her proving to be a very tough customer on the Challenger Series, Rich, and Snapper Rocks is where it's all going to kick off. It's just around the corner. So, you know, those feelings of dejection are not going to last too long for these competitors. They've got to get their minds back on the job.
100%. You got to wash it off really, really quick. And you watch surfers like Molly Picklum turn up at the Challenger event, and I guarantee you she will dominate. She'll go in there with so much confidence, and it's a different Molly Picklum we saw in this Margaret River event than we saw at any of the previous events this year. She really freed up here. You could tell she was just surfing without restriction, perhaps just, you know, trying to alleviate that pressure of qualification with nothing to lose. And I said it this morning, that's when you see a surfer really open up and surf to their full potential. And that carve that she laid down today was one of the best carves I've ever seen from any of the women, especially at this event. So, yeah, she can take confidence from that, and look out, Challenger Series.
Well, just under 20 minutes to go. And, Rich, talk to me about what it's like as a competitor. You find yourself in a quarterfinal heat, and then you sit there waiting for waves to come. Do you start to sort of freak out a little bit? Does it get a little nervy?
It does get a little nervy, but still with 19, just under 20 minutes to go. There's still plenty of time on the clock. So Bronte's still just sitting here going, okay, I'm going to wait for the wave. She can't break her game plan right now. Plan A at this point is to get the 2 better waves, because she's going to need 2 really good waves to beat Steph here. You've got to assume that Steph, no matter what wave she gets, she's going to bank a couple of 6s at worst. So Bronte's going to be thinking, okay, I need that wave that's going to be able, that canvas where I can put my backhand surfing on display. But she's got to keep her cool here. It's not panic stations yet. And really, there's no point scrapping around for a 3 or a 4 at this point.
Kaipo's out the back there, Kaipo. So I guess Bronte can take a little bit of confidence out of the fact that she basically waited half the heat last time before dropping her big number.
Yeah, true, Ron, but like every minute that comes off of the clock, I feel that's going to be a little bit more weight on Bronte Macaulay's shoulders, because time ticking away. She's really got to stay in the mental space, keep focus, because once she gets to her feet, she's going to have to perform. She's down to, you know, just the back half of the heat. And but like Rich said, she is absolutely sticking to her game plan. She's not moving off her spot. She's just been sitting there steadily, waiting for the ocean to activate.
Kipes, obviously here on the beach in the competitors, the Rebel Athlete Zone, where we're feeling the atmosphere, the pressure in these moments, but you've been out there for a majority of the day. What's it like in the lineup?
The lineup's quiet. The lineup is actually peaceful, quiet. We see flurries of waves coming through, but also we see some miraculous thing. We had some pods of dolphin chasing some herring. We had the tuna feeding as well out here. So it's a bit of a nature walk as well as a surf competition.
Yeah, I can see the surfers really clicking into that competitive mindset. You know, the stress is kind of left behind. You see it in the performance sometimes, but for the most part, I've got to say the surfers below that cut line just put on such a big fight, even those that fell out of the mix. As we go to live action now, Steph Gilmore had a 4.5 on her opening ride, just looking to put a backup number on the board. Won't get a whole lot out of that ride, but still just lifts the requirement a little bit for Bronte here.
So what this does, Ron, as time ticks away, it reduces the amount of chances that Bronte's going to get to actually have a crack at getting a score. So it just means it puts more importance on the wave when it does come, and that translates to a little bit of pressure, and she's just got to manage that. Looks like we have a couple of lines approaching the lineup. Perhaps the second one of the set might break here, but this is also the tail end of this swell, so the period between these sets showing up, it draws out, it extends. It's up at around 6 or 7 minutes now between sets. Looks like we may get a start here for Bronte.
16.5 minutes to go. Bronte lets this one slide by. Steph's happy to pick up the scraps on the inside. Off the bottom, straight into this first section. Smooth carve. Just trademark lines from Gilmore. No big, steep wall to lay into, though. So just pretty kind of casual maneuvers, really, and they probably won't result in big numbers. But she was only looking to get rid of a 2 to increase that lead again.
Yeah, well, whatever wave has come through, Stephanie's been on it at this point, and just accumulating minor scores here. Let's watch a beautiful carving cut back into the foamy section here, and another one draws it out, goes a little bit higher on the rebound and cuts out.
3.5 for Steph there. The requirement's now an 8 for Bronte. How important is it, Rich, to just block out that requirement, the 8-point ride, and just think of surfing the wave to its potential rather than over surfing it for an excellent score? Yeah. Because she's got time. Yeah,
100%. She, like I said earlier, she needs to just make sure that when this wave comes through now, she doesn't try and overcook it, push harder than she should. She just got to stay in the moment, surf the wave for the score that it offers her. She's done that surfing earlier today. She knows she can do it. It's all about just being patient. You know, as a competitor, she'd be going, look, I know Steph's only got, you know, basically pocket fours here, and she's got to assume that she's going to drop a really good number here. So I like how she's just hanging in there. She's sticking to the game plan. She's staying calm at the 5th. So it's gone halfway now through the heat, hasn't even ridden a wave. So it all will be revealed when she stands on a board next wave.
Still got time to turn it around and bank some big numbers here. We've still got another huge heat to come. Quarterfinal number 4 will feature Isabella Nichols up against Joanne Defay.
Fingers crossed. Although I thought that was the last one.
The WSL is working with Nature Conservation, Margaret River region, to heal this beautiful dune landscape.
We Are One Ocean is an initiative led by the WSL to inspire our global surf community to protect and conserve our one ocean.
It's so cool to see, you know, the younger generation just already taking part in initiatives like this. That's just key to a beautiful future and a sustainable coastline.
Help us preserve the future of our sport. To learn more, go to weareoneocean.org.
There's a lot to do in Western Australia. I'm going to take a look at my Expedia app and find something fun.
Huh, a canoe tour up the Margaret River? It's booked. Let's do it. The Bush Tucker Tours. I'm Kaipo.
I'm Chelsea. I'll be your tour guide on the beautiful Margaret River today. Excited?
I'm so excited.
Let's do it. Ah! See you, Kaipo.
Wow.
It's a burial ground for the local Wadandi Budja, so it's a very sacred place.
Beautiful.
This is a bit of a sanctuary for our beautiful black bream. It's a good indication for a healthy waterway whenever you see these guys.
Check out Bush Tucker Tours on the Expedia app. There's so much of the world out there waiting, and Expedia helps you see more of it.
Cobb's having an absolute ball over here in the west, as we all are. The Margaret River region is providing once again. It's been giving us some great conditions. We've seen some magic performances at what is one of the most critical CT events we've ever watched unfold. Big implications, and just taking a quick flight with the WA flight cam there, checking out the takeoff zone. It's been a quiet heat, this one. Really just 4 waves, and Steph Gilmore's been on all of them, but she hasn't banked a big number just yet. Bronte Macaulay extremely patient with priority on the outside. Needs a big number to turn it, but she has time at this point to still catch 2 waves and get herself in front.
Yep, absolutely. There's time, and as we get down towards the 11-minute mark, you know, you'd have to think at this point she's probably starting to feel a little bit of frustration more than anything. I don't know if it's pressure or to be like, hey, just give me the chance. Come on, give me a wave here so I can at least put on a show and have a crack at it. So at this point, frustration more so than pressure. She's looking in here now, looking towards perhaps looking for Dave to see whether there's a set coming, and he's signaling out. Maybe there's something on the horizon, but you can see here the wind has really tapered off here. Smooth conditions. And, well, hopefully, come on, we want something, we want to put on a show here, get a real battle happening.
Talk to me about Bronte Macaulay surfing, her approach. What are her strengths, and what do you like?
Just the backhand attack is something to behold, and she gets really vertical and gets right up high, stands a little taller compared to when you think about how Steph surf, and she tucks that back leg right in tight and gets really low as she hits the lip and draws through her turns. I really like how Bronte just sits on her bottom turns, extends it, and then just brings all that power and energy up high, hits the lip vertically, jams it tight up into the pocket, and that's what she's done time and time again to get the wins out here. And that's what she did to beat Carissa. So, mate, I just think she's fearless as well. She's not one to take a step back when there's a big section looming. That final section, she'll give it a good hard dig and put a body and a board on the line.
10 minutes remaining here. Bronte still looking for that first opportunity. Steph Gilmore in the previous heat looks so sharp, and Joe's been down there chatting with some of Steph's camp, and she's just looking to find that magic piece of equipment, Joe. It looks like she's on a good board at the moment.
That's right, Ronnie. Yeah, remember the whole famous cash cow that she rode to so many victories, that beautiful 10-point ride at Karamas we'll never forget, winning at J Bay, winning at Bells, winning at Mexico. I think we really saw that famous cash cow. They called it that because it made her a lot of money. Some people were calling it an ATM machine because she was so dominant on that 510 Darren Hanley surfboard. It was put out to pasture after the Rip Curl WSL Finals. She kind of damaged it at that event and didn't put on the performance she was hoping for. They went right to work, and Darren Hanley made a replica of that cash cow. She's on it right now. That 510 is really feeling solid under her feet. Obviously, her flow, her grace is always there, but she's been attacking throughout this event. She's got a backup board that's a 511. It looks brand new, and it's really interesting, Ron. I think you brought up the point at Bells where DH is so sought after. He made about, what, 99 boards for that CT event. Just think about what's happening now with the Challenger Series starting at Snapper. Darren Hanley is booked. He's got so many competitors trying to get his boards. Steph obviously is at the top of that list, being the queen and the 7-time world champ. If she calls Darren, he'll turn a board around for her in 2 days. He's done just that. Her quiver looking really healthy here for event number 5.
Yeah, that's so true. I'd never thought about that. Just people getting ready to tackle the Challenger Series, and we know there's going to be a lot of CT surfers taking part in that one as well, as Bronte gets started here in the quarterfinals, going after a big win against Stephanie Gilmore, already taken down one of the multiple world champions today. Let's see if she can repeat that performance. It's going to be a pretty comparable score to what Steph's got on the board, you'd think, Rich. And she's going to have a chance with just under 8 minutes to go here.
Yeah, I think she's actually going to get the edge of the exchange here, and she's probably going to get the highest score of the heat so far. I'm thinking around a mid-range score, 5.5 perhaps. Let's look at the replay. There's that bottom turn that I was talking about, even touching the rail just for a moment, keeping it steady, and now she gets some good work done through the middle here, keeps the board flowing, and then jams that final turn. That was so important for her to finish that one off. There wasn't that amazing dynamic moment, but just good solid surfing, and now she's underway in this heat.
Yeah, this is the 7th time these two have gone head to head, and Bronte's never been able to wrestle a victory away from Gilmore, but she has come extremely close. In fact, she's tied with Steph, and that was in a quarterfinal heat at Jeffreys Bay back in 2018, and you know, that says a lot about the strength of Bronte's backhand. If you can match it with Steph in pumping conditions at Jeffreys Bay, then you know, you've got what it takes to beat anyone on the CT. So we'll see how that wave pans out for Bronte. It was actually a 4.17, so just a little under Steph's best ride. Needs a 3.84 to get herself into the lead, as Gilmore looks to respond now, trying to better a 3.5 here. This wave just starting to taper away, but Steph's going to stick with it and still manages to get some dynamic rail turns done on the end of that ride.
It's effortless, isn't it? The way she approaches a wave and gets the maneuvers done. Just doesn't look like there's any stress or strain whatsoever.
Well, just on 6 minutes to go, Steph opting to paddle back out. Let's quickly check in with Laura. She's found someone in Bronte's camp.
I found Dave. He's actually just checking out Bronte's replay of a wave, then waiting for 15 minutes then for that set. Obviously going off what happened in Chris's heat, just waiting for those perfect waves, but this has been so slow.
Yeah, it has. It's been a tough heat. But, you know, she's still alive because Steph hasn't really had any big scores. So, you know, heats can happen like that where it comes right down to the wire. So she's still got time.
Are you proud of her for just sticking to the guns then, or finally catching that wave then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, always proud of her, no matter what. But, yeah, I mean, there was a couple of opportunities, but it's always in hindsight, you know, because you're always thinking, well, maybe if I catch this medium one, a big one will come. So that's probably what she was thinking. But, yeah, she's still in the mix.
And this is what we love about Margies. It's always so entertaining, but happens a lot here where the waves sort of stop.
Yeah, it's just the very end of this swell, you know, and it's just I don't know, it's just gone to sleep. So that's a bit unlucky, but yeah, hopefully there's more to come.
Thanks for chatting, Dave. We'll let you get back to it. Good luck.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, Dave is extremely proud. Mum Lorraine would no doubt be down on hand. The twins, Laura and Ellie, would be watching on. And Bronte's boyfriend, Will, down there as well, offering his support. But here's a replay of Steph's last ride. This one came through at a 4.3, Rich.
Yeah, there's that effortless approach, and unfortunately the wave just tapering right down towards the end moments here, but Steph getting a couple of nice wraps. The speed is there, the flow's there. Steph looks like she's ready to pounce.
We constantly talk about the big results with Steph, the amazing world title campaigns that she's put together, the remarkable amount of CT victories that she's had, but she's such a unique competitor too, because she's considered, you know, one of the most stylish surfers. She's peerless when it comes to style, and she's a virtuoso. It's just artful the way she approaches each and every ride.
Yeah, it is. It's incredible, but she's not infallible though. You know, she does have those ebbs and flows in her mental toughness and her confidence, and you can see that. And well, she looks like she's fixed things up here. And she's getting some really good results, and she's looking good in this heat so far. I can't believe it. It's down to under 4 minutes now.
Well, just on 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Let's dive into the Harvey Norman recap. Gilmore getting things started with a 4.5. At this point, you were thinking, wow, that's, you know, not really the start that she's after, but it's worked out that those 4-pointers are the key rides in this heat.
Yeah, this is just the unpredictability of the ocean and our playing field that we deal with. It's forever changing, and Bronte just waiting almost 20 minutes for this one, and she did some good surfing, Just keeping that board moving, rail to rail transitions all the way through to the inside, gets to the finish. That was an important part of this wave. And here we go, Steph picking up another one. Just this smooth, stylish, slicing, carving approach that she's so famous for. Getting the work done, getting it, like milking every little point out of these waves that she's picked up here.
Yeah, Steph just adapting to the situation. Bronte with priority, hanging on to it for 15 minutes through the opening stages of the heat, the opening half of the heat. And Gilmore just went, I'm going to just keep chipping away and seeing what I can add to this requirement. And eventually it's worked out that she's collected a couple of mid-range 4-pointers. And Bronte now needs a 4.63. And she's moving towards something at the moment, possibly a couple of set waves. She holds off on attacking the first one and sets her sights on this second wave, and it's standing up nicely. We'll see how deep she can get. And scratching for it, and she's a little high on the face.
Oh,
and
no!
Can't get into it. And that was devastating. Dad, watch that one unfold. And I mean, that was a big lost opportunity, but she might get a little rebate here on the inside. Steph too far out. Bronte swoops. Only needs a 4.63. Draws off the bottom. First section, it's pretty nice. She's got to try and stay close to the pocket here. She just gets a little bogged down and ends up on the back of the ride. 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. Was that her last opportunity?
No, hopefully not, man. I just hope she gets another crack at it just to make this heat really interesting. And it's so unfortunate that she just couldn't get on that set wave. You got the feeling like if she got on top of that wave and got into it, that could have been the moment that just broke this heat wide open. She could have nailed a big scorer and potentially shut Steph out of this. But,
just over a minute to go here. Yeah, this is huge. Bronte obviously needs to get into that final, get that victory, to have a shot at making it above the cut line, but she also wants to get her first championship tour win, and she'd love to do it here in Margaret River. She might just swoop on an insider again. Steph too far out to get into this one. Bronte draws off the bottom into the first section. Solid hit. This wave stands up. It offers another section. And she lets go of a second turn, a third as well, cutting back to the bowl only after a 4.63.
Wow.
Wasn't a big wave. How's it going to stack up against Steph?
It's going to be close. It's going to be close indeed. I liked just how acute the attack was. The angles were there, but here goes Steph on a bigger wave outside.
Yeah, look out. Gilmore with a great opportunity on a bigger wave. She falls. 25 seconds to go. And the judges, they'll be reviewing Bronte's wave. It's going to be difficult because the comparisons will be made to Steph's opening score, that 4.5. It was on a pretty decent sized wave. It's going to be close. Where do you see it going?
It's going to be really close. Well, Steph did a lot of face work. It was out there carving, very smooth, had the speed. Bronte more critical, going up higher with her turns. So it's going to be splitting hairs, but just the waves turned up late to the party, and as you do turn up late, they came with an entrance and a bang, and they made such an impact. Have a look at this. So driving up into the lip there. So the first turn was good. The second one was clean. Throws the big fan. Not much on offer here, but she does get that final little roundhouse. So 3 turns. So much bigger wave here for Stephanie as she streaks down the line. But see here, it's just open face, carving turns, nothing too critical, not really in the pocket. It's great surfing though, nonetheless. That final turn there though, it was strong finish, whereas Bronte's didn't really have the big impact finish.
Yeah,
numbers falling now.
That was a 4.5 for Steph. The numbers starting to roll through. It is right on the line. Will it be enough? She needs a 4.63. It is a 4.73. Bronte Macaulay gets the victory. And she has taken down 2 of the greats today to earn her place in the semi-finals and still has a dream to potentially make the cut. What a performance.
Can you script it? I don't think you can. This is just unbelievable stuff here. And, well, what a moment for Bronte Macaulay, beating 2 of the sport's all-time greats.
Massive celebration there for Bronte. She was subdued in a celebration of her round of 16 heat, but she had to let it out there. That was such a close one just a tenth of a point separating these two competitors. And amazing, she's been able to overcome 12 world titles today to earn her place in the semis, beating Carissa in the round of 16 and now Stephanie Gilmore in the quarters. It's a massive result and her first heat win over Steph.
Well, really, Stephanie didn't do too much wrong in that heat. She surfed so well on the waves that were on offer, but Bronte Macaulay putting together a 6-minute heat in the end.
That was an inspired performance. We've still got one more quarterfinal heat to come. Isabella Nichols and Joanne Defay are up next. Stephanie Gilmore and Bronte Macaulay just having a chat after what was an extremely exciting finish to a very slow heat for waves. It came in a flurry in the end. Bronte wasted her first opportunity, but really made up for it on an insider just after.
Oh, just so good. Clutch moment. And able to sneak that little insider, and you could see just how stoked and happy Steph was for Bronte. And I tell you what an event for her. Steph just surfing away out of trouble. She's made the cut, which is kind of extraordinary that we're even talking about it when you think of how good Steph is. And well, she's very, very stoked for her friend Bronte Macaulay there.
Just her fourth time into the semis there. As we get set for the last heat of the day, Isabella Nichols will take on Joanne Defay. As we see Isabella up early in this one. And it will be, I think, a couple of anxious quarterfinalists here looking to drop scores early in the heat after seeing how slow things were in quarterfinal number 3. Isabella not quite making it to the shelf, so she'll motor back out on her own accord and get herself into position to really challenge Joanne Defay here, who's looked strong so far on her road through to this point in the contest, Rich.
Yeah, very consistent, possibly one of the most consistent women on the tour. You just know she's going to produce every heat. Just always finding 2 really consistent rides, very rarely falls, and just loving the Margaret River break here. Has come here for so many years now.
Yeah, Joanne's just been, as you said, just a solid performer, reliable performer ever since she joined the CT ranks, came on as a rookie in 2014. And just really impressed straight away. Here's the replay of Isabella's last ride.
Yeah, great looking wave for Bella here. Just had to avoid that first section and sort of do a cut under, cut down the face, blast that oncoming lip there and rides it all the way through to the inside. Little wiggle, just close to the rock shelf. And I think she'll get the better of the opening exchange. But I have a feeling the ocean's going to come alive. Sometimes they go a little bit sleepy and then it all just turns into action and the sets come rolling in, and hopefully that happens in this final quarterfinal, final heat of the day.
Yeah, Isabella Nichols has a score on the way that's Going to do a lot better than her rivals. 4.67. Joanne Defay just the 2 to kick things off here. But Joanne had a bit of a sluggish start to her last heat against Sally Fitzgibbons and came home so strong.
Yeah, she found the nugget in that heat. And she didn't surf conservatively on it either. Just really attacking and building the points, getting up into the excellent range. She won't be thinking about qualification. She won't be showing Isabella any sympathy here. She'll be wanting to go and bank a very big result here. She's thinking world titles and top 5. She's made the cut.
Yeah, well, she had a great charge at it last year. She has made the cut. She's in a fantastic position. Came into the event in 5th place. Didn't need to do a whole lot to shore up that position. And now she can really go after the very top end of the leaderboard. She can't take that leader's jersey from Brisa Hennessy. She's going to be hanging on to that when we get over to G-Land. But she can slot in just behind Carissa Moore if she can get a victory here. And you wouldn't put it past her. 4 wins on the CT now. And just as you said, so solid, reliable. Hasn't needed to rely on a qualifying series rank since she joined the tour in 2014. Last year she had her best finish, got the 4th and was in the Rip Curl WSL Finals and actually got the jump on. Was it Steph Gilmore?
Oh, in the early round, yeah. Yeah, no, she's really come on in the last few years and just really strengthening the power in her surfing, extending the calves a little bit more. But she's got this tight pocket snap, this compact little arc that she does, and that's her signature move. But I've also noticed that she started to take a leaf out of Tyler Wright's book and go for that layback hack as well. She's starting to mix things up, show a bit more variety in her repertoire.
Well, she's got power, that's for sure. She puts so much work in. A real fitness fanatic. Her partner, Simon, is a bit of a Iron Man, so definitely has plenty of fitness that he can count on, and I think he's taught Joanne a lot, and as a result she's become one of the fittest surfers on the CT. Isabella Nichols, she also puts that work in too, but I think I'd have to give Joanne the power edge.
Yeah, I think Joanne, I agree, has more power. When I think of flare, and when I'm talking about flare, I'm thinking that sort of tail release style of surfing. I think that probably Bella gets the nod there. You know, we saw it last year, excuse me, when up against, she had some big heats up against Carissa Moore and Steph, and she really made everyone look up and go, whoa, this girl, she's got some real strong maneuvers.
Definitely. These two did meet down at Bells Beach, and it was in the round of 16. Joanne got the jump on Isabella down there. But this has been a bit of a roadblock round for Joanne Defay. Incredibly consistent. She's been in the quarterfinals at every event so far, but hasn't broken through to the semis.
Well, that can be a bit of a head noise roadblock as well if you've been there so many times and you haven't been able to progress past that particular round, whether it be early rounds or semis or quarterfinals. It becomes a bit of a roadblock for you. So stick to your guns, stick to the game plan. And well, both these women in this heat just so talented and able to produce their own unique brand of surfing. Isabella with a lot to surf for right here, trying to get herself out of danger. She needs a huge result.
Yeah, so those two spots that were available are still up for grabs. 9th and 10th place. Malia's sitting in 9th at the moment. Gabriella Bryan's moved into 10th position, still alive in the contest, Gabriella. So has an opportunity to shut down one of those positions if she can crack that final. But Isabella and Bronte keep their dreams alive.
Malia would be getting a little bit nervous right about now, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a stressful time for Malia, no doubt, but I'm sure she's just going to basically block it out and see what unfolds.
I'd be heading to a winery and a long lunch is what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be coming anywhere near the event. I wouldn't want to know what happened until the result was done.
Have you had that situation when you're on the CT that, you know, you'd done all you could do and there were still people with an opportunity to overtake you?
Yeah, more so on the qualifying series. You know, I didn't have probably, in my 10 years on the CT, I think I probably qualified on the CT about half of those. And the rest of the time I had to rely on the qualifying tour, and it was a lot of events back then because it wasn't like the tour structure now where the CT finishes or you miss the mid-year cut and then you have a clear run on the championship tour. We had to do them both in unison. It was very, very taxing, and you couldn't focus on one or the other if you didn't have that confidence and you weren't right up in those top positions.
I do remember, though, you sitting on top of the QS ranks at one point, and you did stick around at the contest because your mate Jack Patterson had to win the contest to overtake you and win the QS himself, and he did that.
He did
and
exactly
you were there
that.
to watch everything unfold. Didn't you film his heat?
I actually filmed that heat, and he was up against some pretty fierce competitors. I think he had Kelly, Andy and Parko in his heat, and yeah, little slippery bugger. He got the win and knocked me out of first place.
Here we go, Joanne Defay on her second ride. Just a 2 to kick things off here, and this wave has just faded away into deep water and given her absolutely nothing. Isabella Nichols now with priority on the outside is going to have an opportunity. Well, is there a wave standing up here for her?
That went to plan for Bella, and so lucky for her that Joanne wasn't able to get any points on that wave. So now the momentum shifting over to Bella in the early stages of this heat, and she can really capitalise on that 4.67 score that she has there. But look out. Here we go. Here goes Joanne.
Yeah, swinging on the inside here, just gets a little caught behind. Doesn't like how that ride's panning out. She bails on it. Just under 23 minutes to go. Isabella out the back with priority and the heat lead at the moment. Let's feel the buzz from Bronte Macaulay down there with Laura Anova.
Bronte, wow, what a finish. You basically surfed a 6-minute heat out there. Obviously sticking to your guns, wanting to wait for one of those sets like you're getting against Carissa, but you know, you made it work.
Oh my God, that was like, I think we both just had a bit of a shocker and got so lucky in that last one. It went pretty flat, and then I just made some really bad choices, and I was just nervous, to be honest, but so stoked to get through. Yeah, it's awesome to be in the semis.
You've been a massive showing here. How that, you know, heat against Carissa was incredible, and then to take down another world champion in Steph, it must have been amazing to be out there with her.
Yeah, I mean, like, Steph's been such an influence on me. She's just such an incredible person. Like, even when I first got on tour, she just felt like she kind of took me under her wing, and definitely like how you want to be as a person. So yeah, she's my favourite surfer too. So yeah, I was just really stoked. Even when I was paddling out, I saw Steph, I was like, wow, this is pretty special having a heat with Steph at my home break.
Amazing. And obviously you're thinking about the cut right now, or are you just taking it heat by heat?
Gosh, not really. I think I thought about it before that heat, and then I was like, what am I doing? So no, I'm just going to go back to just trying to open up and just surf, and you know, just be grateful that I'm in this position. I shouldn't be in the comp, so just going to enjoy it.
Well, we can't wait to see Bronte next into the semi-finals. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Thank you.
Cheers, Laura. Yeah, Bronte Macaulay. I think she'll collect herself after surviving that heat. I don't think she'll put the same pressure on herself. The conditions did play a bit of a role in it. She wasn't able to find that rhythm.
She'll marinate on this overnight, and I think those juices will start to flow, those victory juices, those winning juices, and she'll be going, hang on a minute, I'm really close here. I'm 4 waves away from taking this thing out. Here's it right here for Isabella Nichols, taking off super late, under the lip, drives out of it, bit of a 3-stage cutback, through to the inside. That's a better turn. That's that trademark turn I was telling you about, where she jams onto the tail and gets a really critical direction change really fast.
Yeah, it's that same frontside snap which helped her defeat Stephanie Gilmore over at Newcastle in a CT event last year on a run to her best ever CT finish. A second place finish there to Carissa Moore. But Isabella's going to have to continue to bring that sharp angled surfing to get the jump on Joanne Defay, who at some point has to rebound here. She just doesn't have heats like this, but she hasn't got a decent score to speak of just yet.
Well, this is good signs here for the underdog, for Isabella Nichols, because At the 20-minute mark, she's done everything right to this point. She's got the 2 best waves that have come through. She surfed well on them. There wasn't too much more she could have done on those waves. So she's done everything right to date. It's just whether she's going to be in the rhythm with the sets in these final 20 minutes, and now she can even open up more. She's got 2 scores on the board. Joanne really doesn't even have a score yet, so it's for Bella. She's in a good position.
She sure is. Isabella Nichols featuring heavily in the first season of Make or Break. Episode 3. You can check them all out now, streaming on Apple TV+. But yeah, loved getting a little bit more background on Isabella's story. From a great family. Her dad had some health issues last year while she was in her rookie campaign. I'm sure he was reinvigorated and felt fantastic watching her go on to a 2nd place finish in her rookie season. Awesome stuff. But yeah, episode 3 is a beauty with all the rookies featured.
It's really cool, and just like Drive to Survive, which I couldn't help but binge watch, you know, it hooks you up. Make or break. As soon as I saw one episode, I wanted to see another and another. So loving the insights and loving getting the background stories. And well, I think Morgan was a bit of a standout in that rookie episode, and real larrikin. But we're going to see a number of great episodes drop. So get to know it.
Most definitely. Well, just 1 place left in the semi-finals here at the Margaret River Pro for the women. And Isabella Nichols up against Joanne Defay, fighting it out for that opportunity. Joanne Defay did claim a victory in this event, but it was the completion of the contest over at Uluwatu in Indonesia, Bali. And she just got that victory with her backhand. She's going to need to rely on her forehand if she wants to get a 2nd victory. Just under 18 minutes to go here. We'll take a quick bonsai brew break and be back with more in just a moment.
WSL is working with Nature Conservation, Margaret River region, to heal this beautiful dune landscape.
We Are One Ocean is an initiative led by the WSL to inspire our global surf community to protect and conserve our one ocean.
It's so cool to see, you know, the younger generation just already taking part in initiatives like this. That's just key to a beautiful future and a sustainable coastline.
Help us preserve the future of our sport. To learn more, go to weareoneocean.org.
Here in Jewel Cave in West Australia.
It's crazy how Mother Nature just creates these incredible sculptures.
We are here at the Voyager. It's beautiful. It's very chateau-esque. It lives up to what it's known for.
It's been really incredible to go backstage at the Lewin Vineyard. We actually were able to look at the fermentation process.
Basically, a very rare treat being taken behind the scenes. It's awesome.
Welcome back to beautiful Western Australia. It's the Margaret River Pro. It's golden hour, and the colors of Western Australia absolutely gorgeous at the moment. We're in the last heat of the day, but it has been a big day of competition, and we're soaking up the beauty right now.
You're popping out there at the moment, Kipes, really catching that light beautifully.
Thank you. It's very flattering. It's the golden hour out here, Ronnie.
It sure is, mate. Big day of competition, like you mentioned. Some big performances from some surfers that really had to put it all on the line. What was your favourite of the day so far?
My favorite of the day is just coming off of Bronte Macaulay. I can't get beyond that, just because the local girl making the hometown proud, a lot of support for, and the way she did it in a clutch moment after really making, you know, an error, not being able to catch a wave at the end of the heat, and then snuck that one inside. That was the inspirational performance of the day for me, Ronnie. What about you?
Oh, I think you're spot on there. I really love seeing surfers like Molly Picklum rise and really put together one of their best rides when the pressure's on. Obviously, she didn't keep that ride alive on a road through to this contest. But yeah, that was solid as well. But great to get your insights, Kibes. Another fantastic day out there with Dometic, bringing us those insights as we've got Joanne Defay up at the moment, looking to lock in her best number and get herself out of second spot potentially. Taking this one right over the reef. It's going dry. Joanne just skittles across that inside section. And she checks the fins quickly because she came into contact pretty hard with it. And at this point in the afternoon, at this point in the heat, damaging your equipment could be a disaster, especially if you're chasing scores.
Yeah, you're going to soak up a couple of minutes just getting onto the ski, down to the keyhole, get the spare board, and then back on the ski and out into the lineup. It's going to soak up a good 2.5 minutes, maybe even 3. Great looking replay here. Joanne's wave. Nice swooping turn to start things off. She does it so well, doesn't she? Just staying right in the power, the energy part of the wave. And a great, that's that little layback snap that she started to incorporate into her repertoire. And just here goes into the prone, and then, oh, the reef just pops its head up. She has to bail.
13.5 minutes to go. Steph Gilmore falling out of the mix in a close heat with Bronte, but shoring up her place above the cut line. She's with Laura.
Steph, such a slow heat down to the end. Both you girls just obviously waiting for that set that never really came.
Yeah, you just have to laugh at those heats. You know, both Bronte and I obviously would have loved to battle it out with excellent scoring rides, but yeah, it wasn't to be. So I don't know, I just was like scrapping around and thought, oh my God, I might actually win this heat with 2 4s, which is crazy. But yeah, in the end there, I just probably should have chased Bronte in and just held her off anything. But you know, she only needed such a small score, and no, I'm stoked for Bronte. She's well deserved to do good here at Margaret River, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe she could even requalify for the back end of the tour, which would be really cool.
That would be amazing. And talking about requalifying, you have officially made the cut. I know that was something that you're after, especially after missing Pike this year. It's been an up and down year for you, so you must be very, very stoked.
Yeah, super stressful event, but so nice to know I've made the cut. And, you know, I actually knew that before I paddled out in the heat, so I kind of took the pressure off. So I wanted to just kind of let my surfing, you know, be relaxed and I don't know, have a good time, but it just didn't work. So I don't know, it's just one of those things. I'm happy to make the cut, though. That was a really sort of stressful situation.
And been loving your time here at Margie's. You know, you've had some amazing, you know, moments throughout the event and obviously over the years.
I love Margaret River. It really is a beautiful place, and yeah, it's sort of like, it's like authentic Australia when I think about all the things we get to do and see down here, and the big scary waves you get to surf. But yeah, no, it's a fabulous place, and happy to be back. Thanks for having us.
Amazing. Maybe go enjoy some more wineries.
Definitely.
Like fine wine, Steph Gilmore.
Yeah, you can see the pressure is off Steph. She's feeling good about making that cut. She'll make up some ground on the field in the back half of the year. You just know it. But she's winless here in the West, but she'll get her opportunity next year, because obviously making the cut means you are automatically qualified for the 2023 season. But I think this event, much like Bells Beach, Rich, when you look at it, it's been won by so many of the greats in the different iterations of the contest qualifying series event. Isabella Nichols would love to break through for a victory here. Obviously driving through this carving turn. Love the way she whips that board back in transition, gets back out in front of it and jams it again. That might be her best ride.
Without a doubt, that's her best ride, and it's showing a lot of patience on that wave, a lot of restraint, didn't rush it. Got to each section exactly when she needed to. And some great surfing there from Isabella Nichols. She's going to go back into the lead here, only needing that 3.17.
Even the way she's moving over that inside shelf is just being done with a lot of confidence at the moment. I think she's got a real edge over Joanne at this stage.
So swooping turn to start things off. Watch the restraint here. Holds it. Now goes for the big hack. And then again, waits. Picks a moment, jams it up into the pocket. The timing was so critical on that final hit, and she nailed it.
6.83. Take us through that ripping turn. I love the way she whips the board back around.
It's sort of almost Steph-esque, really, the way she just gets that back leg tucked in, nice and compact off the lip. And as you mentioned there, the redirection of the board, the nose wrapped around right up into the curl. And then that final hit was very, very dynamic.
Yeah, winding back the clock to the first CT event that unfolded here. Wendy Botha was unbeatable for the first couple of years. But then surfers like Jodie Cooper, who had an amazing track record in Hawaii, loved the power that main break surfed up. She got a win. Pam Burridge went back-to-back, well, as CT events, I should say, but one in 93 and again in 96. And then there was a little hiatus. The event was a qualifying series stop for a number of years. Mel Redmond-Carr had great results here, 3 victories in a row, and then one again in 2009. But Courtney Conlogue has been one of the most dominant forces in this event. No surprise to see her into the semi-finals again.
Yeah, she's just so strong, and like Bells, I think this wave really suited to her style. She's got all that power and aggression that she taps into, and it's a wave that has a lot of power. You know, it's probably one of the most consistent breaks in the world when you think about rideable conditions, and Courtney's just got a way of feeding off that power and that energy.
She does, and you know what, it's been a big fight back from those surfers that have been struggling for results. When you look at the semi-final lineup so far, unbelievable. You know, we wondered how those lower seeds, those surfers below the cut line, would deal with the pressure in these final 2 events before the mid-year cut. Courtney's been so strong. Gabriella Bryan saving her best for here at Margaret River. But Bronte Macaulay making a late charge and keeping the dream alive. And we'll see if Isabella Nichols can hold Joanne Defay off here. But it's really going to level up the field too when you start thinking about the back half of the year, if these lower seeds can keep trumping the big names.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we love having these kind of rookies, I guess, on the tour, and these wild cards into the mix, because they are a little bit unpredictable. We don't know their full game yet. We don't know how they're going to go at some of these more well-known spots, the J-Bays and Tahiti's, places like that. So it's going to be a really, really fun tour to watch unfold.
Just 8 minutes to go now, and Joanne Defay put up a 5.5 on her last ride. She needs a 6.01 now. Beautiful afternoon here in the west. And hearing Owen Wright talk about WA and just saying that the thing he loves most is just that sun setting on the horizon every afternoon. Good reason to celebrate. As we dive into the Harvey Norman recap here, Isabella Nichols working over a couple of medium-sized waves to bank some 4s early on.
Yeah, she started really, really strong in this heat, and then Joanne came bouncing back, just finding a couple of little nuggets on the inside here. These wrapping turns, the consistency that she brings. Strong, solid surfing. Look at the power in the legs there. But then Bella, she found this little gem to get the highest scoring wave of the heat so far, just waiting patiently for this second turn. Jams it, wrapping it all the way around. And then the final hit here slams it on the closeout section for that 6.83.
A really good read, great variation showing there by Isabella, and no surprise to see that she dropped that big number. And I think any time you can really get an edge in these slower conditions, it can work in your favour. So just putting away a 6.83, even with 6.5 minutes to go, you know, could spell the end for Joanne Defay in these slower conditions.
At this point in the heat, last heat, Bronte didn't even have a wave yet. So we know that you can build a score pretty quickly, a score line, and if anyone can do it, Joanne Defay can.
She's got that unbelievable just mental strength to just block the pressure and really fight until the end. I've seen her wrestle wins away from surfers that somewhat had it in the bag here at main break before, early on in her career. I think it was way back in 2015, heat with Sage Eriksson comes to mind. Sage had the lead, and much like Steph Gilmore in that last heat, kind of sat on the outer takeoff area, and Joanne snuck to the inside, and with just 2 turns was able to turn that heat around right on the buzzer. So don't write her off just yet. She can still turn it with just a single ride, but at this point there's still time for both these competitors to lock in bigger scores. Going to have one hell of a post show this afternoon, Rich.
Yeah, lots to unpack today. There's been so much action, so much drama, and well, we've been feeling the emotions in the commentary box here. I can only imagine what the surfers are going through, the ones that have, you know, found their way off tour and missed the cut. Just devastating, heartbreaking moments for them.
Yeah, but you know, there was always going to be that really tough moment. It's elation for others as they look forward to the back half of the schedule and those you know, exciting events. G-Land coming back on. That'll be the next stop for the CT. But those surfers have been pushed out of contention on the CT. Will hit the Challenger Series, and that's just around the corner. But yeah, Joe, Shannon, Bugs, they'll be looking at the big highlight moments. There was plenty of them, even from those surfers that have fallen out of the mix here. So it's going to be fun to have a look at that.
Yeah, I dare say that carve of Molly Picklum is going to feature strongly on perhaps the top 5 moments. One of the best turns we've seen to date. And, well, the sun is starting to set here, so it's been a full day for everyone down here.
Yeah, 4 minutes to go as Joanne Defay, 28 years of age, goes just hunting around the lineup, just keeping moving. Were you one of those competitors just wanted to keep the blood flowing, not just sit too stagnant in the one spot, kind of try and encourage the ocean to come to life with you?
Yeah, I found it difficult to stand still, and even now when I'm surfing, I'm always scrapping around under everyone trying to pick off little waves. But yeah, I never had the patience to really sit there and wait for the better waves. I like to get things going and really build momentum through the heat and build my confidence after riding a few waves.
Joanne Defay's been just a little busier than Isabella out there, but Isabella Nichols has certainly been on 2 of the better rides in this heat and made good use of them as well. Something standing up on the outside. Priority is with the surfer in black, Joanne Defay. Will this one eventuate? She's moving to the inside to try and scrap into it. And she's not going to get into this wave. So that is a massive priority blunder and not something you expect to see from Joanne. She's going to keep charging through to the inside, try and find some space here from Isabella Nichols. And she might just be able to pick one up. This is a medium-sized wave, though. I don't think she's going to get into this one either.
Oh, this is what Margaret River does. It sometimes looks like there's a wave standing up on the peak, and then if it's not big enough to break on that outside reef, it slides under you and doesn't break until it comes way on the inside. Bella's got to stay with her here. Whole priority, try and block her out.
Yeah, well, maybe more than any other venue on the schedule, Margaret River will do that to you. It kind of stands up on that outer boil, but if that wave just doesn't have the energy to cap it, it's so hard to get over the ledge and chase it down.
Yeah, well, there is a number of takeoff spots out here, so you've really got to be reading the ocean at all times.
Well, Kipes is watching on, and Kuiper, that really worked in Isabella's favour.
Right there, that's priority era, and then Isabella's all over. As soon as she saw Steph not catch that wave, she was all over. She paddled inside. Now she's sitting right on her. She's sticking to Joanne, I'm sorry, like Velcro at the moment.
Man, it's a smart decision too, because we saw in that last heat, Steph, even with priority, Kipes couldn't really play a hand in the final exchange.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important, and we've been talking about it with these slower heats, is your rhythm with the priority, and when you're holding priority, a lot of times these heats are determined on that first exchange. A lot of times it's towards the second half of the heat, and who plays the priority card the best.
It's almost nighttime, Kipes. It's time to come home, mate. Come and have a hot shower. You've earned it.
Thanks, Ron. I'll be there shortly.
Great job out there today. And Isabella Nichols, she's looking to get the job done on Joanne Defay here. Just the way that she moved in, Rich, the way that she just picked up on that error and just went, I need to be not outside Joanne, but trying to get a bigger wave, but just protect this lead now. She's in a good position to do so.
Well, she's got to be careful here, because we saw Bronte Macaulay turn that heat with Stephanie Gilmore in the final seconds, and it looks like there is a little bump approaching. It will get to us in time. 30 seconds on the clock here.
Well, it'll be an easy decision for Isabella. If Joanne just hasn't even look at this wave, Isabella will go, but as you can see, again, just they've moved out onto that outer section. The water's just a little too deep. That wave's not standing up. Isabella's going to maintain control, and only 30 seconds to go. She should get the win.
Yeah, it's counting down here, and what a moment for Isabella Nichols. She's going to keep her dream alive. On the championship tour, you can hear it counting down. There it is. There's the siren. She's done it.
What a push from the underdogs today. Unbelievable. We're going to have a real big look at all those surfers that fought so bravely through this contest to make the cut, and those who didn't quite get there because the performances were so solid. But Isabella Nichols getting a very important heat win over Joanne Defay and powering through to the semi-finals where she'll meet Bronte Macaulay. We'll take a quick break. The WSL Post Show is just around the corner.
Good evening and welcome to the WSL Post Show here at the Margaret River Pro in Western Australia. What a day for pro surfing history as we see Isabella Nichols fresh off her victory over Joanne Defay, keeping her dream alive to potentially make it past the cut. Bella's with Laura.
Wow, Bella, surfing into the dark here this afternoon. A beautiful West Oz sunset out there for your heat, but what a day, keeping your tour dreams alive.
Oh my gosh, at the end there was dolphins jumping around, like the sunset over the water was just absolutely incredible. I don't know what to say, I'm just stoked. So cliche, I know.
I mean, coming into this event, you knew you needed a big result, and you obviously still do, but you know, you keep fighting and fighting.
Yeah, I mean, like I've said before, I feel like I perform my best when my back's against the wall, and I've just really had to like calm myself down these past couple heats, and I mean, it'll be what it'll be, really.
And talk about it out there this afternoon. Obviously it's slower, but how important was that for you to just find the right waves? And you obviously capitalised on that 683.
Yeah, wave selection out here is like probably the most important place where you actually have to get your wave selection right here at Margaret River. Just because there's not too many opportunities in the heat, especially this afternoon, and patience game pays off.
And obviously looking forward to a bit of a rest. It's been a huge day.
It's been an absolutely massive day. Like I didn't surf till like this afternoon anyway, but just hanging around, the anticipation, obviously the stress and anxiety that's like there underlying. Yeah, happy to survive.
Faith and trust. We'll see you into the semi-finals. Congratulations.
Cheers.
Isabella Nichols.
Thank you. Cheers.
So great to hear from Isabella Nichols. She looked incredible in that heat. Obviously, things slowed down a little bit wave-wise, but Bella was just looking controlled, confident, didn't look like a surfer under the pressure of surviving the mid-season cut, Shannon.
Yeah, she's really found this way to feel at home, to feel relaxed, and to approach it with a bit more fun than she has the rest of the season so far. And, I mean, it's paying off at the moment.
Pretty crazy day, Bugs. You've seen everything in pro surfing history coming down to today. What did we really witness, and how big of a change is that really for pro surfing?
Well, it was a pretty momentous day, you know, historic in a unique way. You know, it was an emotional day. I've never seen so many post-heat interviews, even with the winners though, that were showing so much emotion, and there was a fair bit of stress. There was just it was a kind of a stressful day, and Isabella really wrapped it up there, that she had to sort of stick around all day waiting for a heat, and that underlying cut, you know, was always omnipresent, and I think that dominated the day.
Well, pressure was felt from that morning free surf this morning. Everyone just trying to get a warm-up where there's a lot of tension on the line. And then the whole story of the leaderboard changes. Forget about the whole cut thing. The top 9 in the world heading into this event on the women's side knocked out of the event heading into finals day, Shannon. That doesn't happen at every stop on tour.
That hardly happens ever. I mean, absolutely insane to think that everything was really been flipped on its head, and now it's opened up this conversation of who's even going to make it to G-Land.
Well, this was a clutch performance from a rookie named Gabriella Bryan that's surfing for her spot on tour. She's in the mix now, sitting at number 10 on the live rankings, as just right behind Malia Manuel, but she was able to take out current world number 1 Brisa Hennessy in this first quarterfinal, Bugs.
This has been an amazing performance by the young girl from Hawaii. She's just been relentless in her attack all day, and it's really paid off.
Brisa obviously surfing incredibly well at Margaret River main break. Had just got the news she'd retake the yellow. She ended up getting some damage to her wetsuit, and also a board that she's called a bit of magic. She repaired the board at Bell's. She dinged the nose of it heading onto the bricks, but a happy relationship with her coach Reynos Hayes, and Gabriella Bryan kind of was feeding off the crazy energy in a positive way. She saw fellow members of the rookie class get knocked off tour, and she just put her head down and went to work, Shannon.
Yeah, it was really incredible to see the resilience that Gabriella Bryan has. She's the most consistent of the rookie class, given her campaign on the Challenger Series with those 3 runner-up finishes out of 4 events, 3 finals out of 4 comps. That's very impressive with such a stacked field. I am not surprised in the least that she's the rookie left in the pack to try and get herself that midseason cut.
It's cool to see that connection of a hot streak like you're mentioning through Challenger Series, where she's still building her profile. She had a blank surfboard during that run. Now she's got sponsor backing, bigger dreams, and you want to see how these athletes handle things when their career's on the line, and Gabriella Bryan did that today. Her job's not done yet, Bugs.
Well, you know, she's surfing with a maturity well beyond her age and her experience at this level, and it's mind-blowing to see, you know, what did happen today, and she led this sort of rookie charge that continued on.
Obviously 2 spots left to confirm for the top 10 that will be moving on to G-Land. And one story for a local hero named Bronte Macaulay was brilliant to watch today, because she had the most decorated world champions in her way in the draw, from Carissa Moore and then to this heat with Steph Gilmore getting a buzzer beater that had all of WA applauding, Shannon.
Oh, we were all chicken skin and just so excited to see her walk away with a victory over the 7-time world champion, to take Steph Gilmore out when Steph has so much on the line as well. She already knew that she'd gotten that requalification, so I do wonder if that played into maybe Steph's mindset, feeling a little more relaxed paddling out. But for Bronte Macaulay, for her to hold it together when it was a slow heat, I heard her coming out of the lineup, I heard her on the steps mention to Laura Endeavor, just one of those. Margaret's has those really slow heats, and she happened to end up as the surfer in the midst to have to deal with it. One of them was going to come out on top, and we couldn't be more stoked to see it go to the local.
She had a lot of lightness about herself today, loving the conditions. Her father, Dave Macaulay, heard the explosion from the VIP section upstairs. And that was his confirmation that his daughter had gotten the score on the last wave to move on to another semifinal performance in back-to-back events at Margaret River, Bugs.
Yeah, this was a feel-good victory, and it's funny how Shannon, you said, you know, Stephanie knew that she went out before, that she'd made the cut. Maybe it did take a little bit of edge off her, but right at the end there, it was a clutch performance to actually pull it out of the fire and progress, and, well, the whole beach erupted.
See how much it changed towards the evening. It was incredibly slow. 8.9 combined total for that victory for Bronte to move on to the semifinals. And I feel like when the cut talk was kind of around the whole area, she's been an injury replacement wild card this year for Caroline Marks. So I think she honestly wasn't even spending any time worried about the rest of the season, and she was able to get the job done as we check out the final series. Gabby Bryan with a chance to qualify for the back end of the year. The same story for Bronte and Isabella Nichols. Bella's got to make the final. Bronte's got to win the event. And then Courtney will just be that danger card, one of the best ever at main break.
Yeah, it's going to be impressive to see who can make it past Courtney, whether it's Gabby in the semifinals or one of the other two in that final matchup. It'll also be exciting to see if we get a Gabby matchup with either Bronte or Isabella. We will see one of those finalists taking that opportunity onto the rest of the season. Such an interesting story when it comes to the whole requalification run. Courtney didn't know that she was confirmed when she was in her last quarterfinal heat. Her mom wanted her to stay incredibly focused, and then she got the news, and all she said was, I'm going to get barreled. She was already thinking about making it to G-Land, Bugs.
Yeah, no, it's a big prize, and Courtney's she came into Australia way down the list, and enormous pressure on her, and she's delivered.
And now you think about Malia Manuel, that spot is in jeopardy, and it's probably really tough as a surfer when you can't do it yourself. She was knocked out of the event already today, and we'll have to wait to see what Gabriella Bryan does, Isabella Nichols, and also Bronte Macaulay, how we're going to finalize those last two spots.
It's pretty crazy, too, because Malia came into this season as the WSL seasonal wild card. That spot could have gone to Bronte Macaulay just based off of how last year went out, and it went to Malia. WSL made that decision. Now Bronte has that opportunity to take it back from Malia and get the rest of the season.
So many stories in the lead up to what was going to happen this year, and today on Saturday at Margaret River, we finally faced this whole story of the midseason cut. Let's get into it. Making the cut is the whole story about 2022. For the first time having a cut at stop number 5 here at the Margaret River Pro, taking the top 10 women and also the top 22 men into the back end of the season. It's never been done like this before. When we got into play here at Margaret River at stop number 5, we had a few surfers that knew they were already confirmed, but we had a lot to surfers ready to fight for a spot on the championship tour on the back end of the season to potentially be a part of the Rip Curl WSL Finals. The surfers that made the cut: Brisa Hennessy, Carissa Moore, Tyler Wright, Lakey Peterson, Joanne Defay, Tatiana Weston-Webb, 7-time world champ Steph Gilmore, and Courtney Conlogue also getting the news today. Great to see those stories, especially for Gilmore. She'll still be able to contest for an 8th world title this year.
Oh, incredible to know that that is still an opportunity for her, given the changes that have taken place in women's surfing since she first qualified and got those 4 back-to-back world titles.
Yeah, she's been on fire, looking like she's totally engaged with pro surfing and fighting to break that record that she holds with Lane Beachley as well. We also have surfers that are under the cut, still trying to see what their tour will be looking like, if it is the Challenger Series or if it will be the Championship Tour. Under the cut, it was a lot of rookie names like Molly Picklum, Luana Silva, Betty Lou Sakura Johnson, India Robinson from that rookie class that were under the cut. We know Caroline Marks has been taking time off this year, so she didn't have really any points to talk about. The headline name, a veteran on tour, Sally Fitzgibbons, had that tough news, but Bugs, she handled it just like the champion she is.
Well, after 14 seasons on tour, she never ever missed an event in that whole 14 years. Every event she's made, and to hear that she's made that, she didn't make it and she's going to Snapper, she had a brilliant sort of response. I thought the positivity. She said, "Bring it on." I think she said there's a pool full of piranhas waiting for her.
Yeah, it's really interesting. With Fitzgibbons, you don't worry about her. You know, heading to the Challenger Series, she's going to make new goals for herself and going into locations where she has so much experience and wins. When you think about all the reps she's had at Snapper Rocks, from Saquarema, winning in Brazil in her career, also Hossiger, France. She's going to be the big name in the locker room in the Challenger Series.
Oh, she's going to be the one to beat 100% with the amount of time she has spent in the jersey in comparison to any other woman competing on the Challenger Series this season. It's going to be a question mark of, can she not win the Challenger Series to requalify?
100%. Also, the names that weren't on those lists, we're still yet to establish what's going to happen for Malia Manuel in the back end of the year. Also, Bronte Macaulay, as she's trying to go all the way to a win. Isabella Nichols as well. We'll see what happens with her and Gabriella Bryan. It's so hard to make predictions these days, Bugs. Do you see how that one's going to play out?
Well, no. Look, if today it was the running of the Kentucky Derby, all the top 9 horses all fell out. They all didn't finish the race, and we've got these 4 semi-finalists that you just wouldn't have picked it at the start of the day. And I mean, all credit to them.
Really cool to see these great performances lift today, especially a very special wave that was ridden by Australia's Molly Picklum. She didn't make the cut, but she did earn the Boost Mobile Wave of the Day. 917 on her way to knock out a 2-time world champ and world number 2, Tyler Wright.
She had the 3-time world champion Mick Fanning ringing up her coach, Glenn Micro Hall, after this wave was caught, going, this is the type of surfing we see from Molly Picklum in her free surfs all the time. This is what we want to see her bring to the championship tour. And I'm so sad she didn't make it through above that cut line for the rest of the season. But this woman, she has a very bright future ahead of her and many world titles to claim.
That 917 made a lot of noise around the surfing world, Bugs, from Mick Fanning texting Micro, everyone comparing it to like a John turn. How was your reaction from the youngster today?
I was so impressed. It was a breakthrough, you know, moment, one of those watershed moments in someone's career that you went, there's the potential, and it's gold-plated.
And then Molly Picklum shook off the news that she didn't qualify for G-Land, went for a surf quickly with Glenn Micro Hall, as she'll be preparing for Snapper Rocks at the first stop of the Challenger Series in less than a week. On the men's side, things were interesting. A very short day, but it was a really impactful 4 heats run in the elimination round. Obviously, 3rd place losing, and it was a tough one for WA in particular, losing Jack Thomas, Ben Spence, and Jacob Wilcox in 3 straight matchups. And then one of the top seeds going down in Heat 4 is Seth Moniz, is still trying to find the rhythm again after what was a brilliant start over at Pipeline.
Oh, Seth had the most incredible start to the year. And it's tough, though, when you get those victories to then go and back it up. It's one of the hardest things to do in sport. So for Seth, it's understandable, but a hard loss for him to go out in the elimination round. And tough to see that all of our local wildcards are out of the draw on the men's side.
So true. This was a battle. There's a lot on the line for a requalification when you focus on Sammy Pupo and Matthew McGillivray in this seat. So you kind of felt like Seth might have been free from all of that and surfed like the top seed that he is. It felt like he was actually dealing with the most pressure, Bugs.
Well, this heat was the heat where it was all on the line. I mean, with the wild cards is a different scenario, but this heat here, it had it all. Seth came out of the blocks really firing. Then Samuel Pupo, he was on the wave behind, and he really established himself in this heat.
Sammy Pupo looked electric. He looked comfortable. He had the entire Brazilian storm on the steps. And, you know, with Medina's absence, you know, Adriano de Souza moving on, Felipe is turned into the captain of that Brazilian storm, and Sammy felt that energy today.
Oh, I think it's just been the best shift there for Felipe to walk into that kind of figure overseeing the rest of that pack, and for Sammy to rise to the occasion. His boards were just looking electric under his feet, and great to see Matt McGillivray make it through into the next round as well. Very important moment for him.
Checking out the numbers as we saw Sammy Pupo. He's 18th in the world heading into this event. We'll give you an update on the live rankings, but he's trying to keep some space ahead of that 22 mark. McGillivray with much more work to do as he's pretty far back on the rankings, but happy to be in second. Moving on to the round of 32. Laura Enever caught up with Matthew McGillivray after that advancement.
Maddie, awesome heat, making it through past that elimination round. How important was that for you?
Yeah, every heat counts so much in this event because you either, there's the cut happening, so you're either going on the championship tour or you're on the Challenger Series. So it's going through everyone's mind. Every time they surf a heat now, there's a lot more weights. And I think, like for myself, I've been trying to stay out of my head and I'm trying to enjoy my experience at this event. It's a contest I did well at last year, so I'm trying to channel some of that mojo. And yeah, I love the waves here at Margaret River. The forecast is looking pretty good for the rest of the event, so I'm looking forward to just hopefully getting a few more waves out there and having some fun. And yeah, let's try and make some more heats.
Thanks, Maddie. All the best.
You can see that nervous energy, but happy energy for South Africa's Maddie McGillivray. Shannon, you've been watching this kid grow up at Jeffreys Bay, and obviously a lot of positives for him, knowing that this was his best result last season as a rookie on tour. He has a great connection with main break, but how is he going to handle the pressure?
I think he's going to do just great. Having that success out here last year, the semifinals, this sort of wave really suits his style as well. He's a power surfer now. Growing up, he was really technical. He had a lot of those really finite measures of his surfing figured out, but now that he's grown into the power surfer that he is, if we get the forecast that we are expecting, the big waves on offer, he's going to be a tough one for Kanoa to take down.
Kanoa Igarashi with the draw with Maddie McGillivray for the round of 32 as this event continues. We're going to take a quick break on the WSL Post Show. Up next, the top 5 of the day. Also, a pretty incredible look at the Surfline forecast. It's going to be pumping. We'll be right back. The WSL acknowledges the Wadandi people as the traditional owners of the Margaret River region and thank them for welcoming us to their buja, or their country. We pay our respects to the Wadandi community and their elders, past and present. WSL is committed to the ongoing learning about local history, culture, and the language of Wadandi Buja, the saltwater people's country. They've asked us all to walk softly on their country and respect the ocean and the waterways, and we wish to extend this acknowledgement and respect to other First Nations people who join us in person and online. It's great to learn new words like hello, Kaya. It's a great expression, and just to pick up all the new local customs. It's such a pleasure to be on Wadandi country and here on the Harvey and Norman host set for the WSL Post Show. Joe Trappell, Shannon Hughes, and Wayne Rabbit Bartholomew. Anytime you get to an event, and obviously, Bugs, you've been at the helm of pro surfing, obviously winning titles, but also as a former CEO. I mean, you can't talk about the wave forecast enough. You're always predicting, seeing what's going to unfold. Last 2 events in a row, I feel like it continues to improve as we go through the waiting period.
And unexpectedly, you know, Belle's turned around with Margaret River. Well, this place is unbelievable. This coastline is incredible. It's just, look at that. It comes out of the roaring 40s. It just comes up here out of the deep Southern Ocean and Indian Ocean. And we are going to get whacked by some big surf.
You see all those purple blobs and red blobs heading to Margaret River. We're seeing an XL southwest swell that's peaking on Tuesday. We're talking gigantic conditions. Today's Saturday, so tomorrow's Sunday. That's 5 to 7. Still very clean. We're showing up for the call tomorrow. But Shannon, look at those numbers increase, especially on Tuesday.
Well, that's the wild thing. Looking at Tuesday, Wednesday with those offshore winds, you know, peaking around 18 foot. We could have some insane surfing, maybe unmanageable, maybe some of the best, most powerful turns that we will have witnessed in professional surfing coming up next week.
Are we finally going to see a board over 6'2" these days, Bugs? What's going to happen on Tuesday?
Well, I mean, if yesterday or a couple of days ago it was 12 to 15 feet, and we're talking about 18 to 20 feet, we might have to go to a 6'3".
These days, that's the modern day big wave gun. A lot to look forward to, obviously starting tomorrow with that call in the 5 to 7 foot range. But now it's time for the daily top 5 on a pretty incredible Saturday here at the Margaret River Pro. Always fun to see who's going to make this top 5 list of the best moments, starting at number 5, getting coached and fired up by Greg Browning. Tatiana gets 5th on the list, getting into the 9s with her back end today, Shannon.
Such impressive surfing. The defending champion from 2021 right out here at Main Break. For her to find herself into that excellent range again and to literally put her body on the line to risk that in section, but knowing that's what the judges want, it was an extremely strong kickoff.
She was so confident with that one, getting number 4 on the top 5. Kyle Belly, how did he control this air job, Bucks?
This was unbelievable. We were calling this heat, and he was off his board completely. The board was facing the wrong way. The wrong rail was in the water. He didn't land it flush, but somehow he pulled it off, and what an incredible performance.
Special connection for Kyle Belly, still enjoying his best year on tour in the making. Number 3, of course, what a performance that we saw earlier, a 9.17 for this beautiful surfing for Molly Picklum.
It was just one of those moments where we got to see her unleash to find a few good waves, to get some rhythm out here at a wave that we would expect her to find excellence at. For her to link together those cars and then to find this one near the finish of that heat was, I mean, I could watch that over and over and over again.
One of the coolest turns we've seen in this event, one of the best waves we've seen Molly ride on the championship tour. She eliminated number 2 in the world, Tyler Wright. Amazing performance there. Tyler had to shake off a tough loss, but Molly deserved every bit of that win and earned number 3 on the daily top 5. Number 2 was Courtney Conlogue's performance, and as she clinched a spot for the back end of the season, Bucks.
Yeah, she brushed off some enormous pressure coming in here, but it's been a happy hunting ground for Courtney Conlogue, and she really clinched her semi-final berth with style and panache.
Really fun to see Courtney's love for Main Break. Every time she comes here to compete, she's won multiple times, and even under pressure, she put on one of her better performances in a long time out here.
Yeah, it was really great to see her come alive, and then to hear the news while after, you know, the buzzer sounds that she has made the cut for Kaipo to deliver that to her. Her mom held on to it to keep her focused and ready to go.
And it's a WA hero, Bronte Macaulay, taking out the post show with the number 1 performance, taking out 2 big world champions along the way. Stephanie Gilmore, she did that one on the buzzer. Carissa Moore before that, Bugs. That was sensational.
It was sensational, and you know, Bronte had a day for the ages here, and she would have made her goofy-footed father very proud.
She looked content. She looked patient. She wasn't trying to rush things. That was the news. Dave heard the eruption from upstairs and realized she did enough to get the score.
She did more than enough. Dave and her partner Will there just feeling so excited to see Bronte finding rhythm this season. At Bells, she came back swinging, looked in top form. I'm so excited to see Bronte in that same mindset coming into Margaret River the way that she knows better than any other woman in the lineup.
Really cool. Bronte was sitting next to Carissa Moore at the press conference going into this event. I had no idea they'd have a matchup so early, and Bronte ended up winning. Bronte had some kind words about Carissa Moore and her dedication to the sport and being a really nice human being as well, battling it out for a spot into the final series, upsetting a couple of big world champions. Bronte's on quite a roll, and she could potentially qualify if she wins this event, Bugs.
Yeah, that's a big dream, and you know, it's really wide open, and with the top seeds out, Bronte in incredible form, anything could happen.
Easy for you to pick a winner on the women's side since we're down to the semifinals, Shannon?
I'm going to go with Bronte. I'm throwing it out there. She's going to maybe get that requalification. We've also got Isabella Nichols and Gabriella Bryan with that potential to get a spot through as well.
Bugs, agree or disagree?
Yeah, look, definitely on the sentimental favourite, the hometown favourite, but I got a feeling Gabriella Bryan's still got something left in her kit bag too. I'm thinking she's going to be the dark horse.
I love that call.
That's a great call. If that happens, it'd be two fresh winners getting a CT event win for the first time on road to trying to qualify for the back end of the season. Well, it's dark outside. The sun's gone down. We're probably going to sleep here on the Harvey Norman host set because we have an early call tomorrow at 7 a.m. local time on Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you bright and early. Take care.
It is going to be an intense day of competition because the cut is officially here.
Dreams will be broken today.
The intensity could be felt in the warm-up session. There's a lot on the line with the elimination rounds.
Good surfing here from Lakey. Just a polished performance, but really, really good surfing from Luana Silva in a clutch situation.
Turn up the volume, sugar. There ain't no holding back. This ain't a test now, honey. I'm a real soundtrack. Pump up the color player. Thirst till you cross the edge. Nothing like they expected. Countdown to contact.
A solid performance for Jansen Andre from start to finish. Weightless on the re-entry into the flats. David Silva heads the same direction.
The surfer representing Portugal drives through his first carve. Frederico Moraes did it beautifully. Jacob Wilcox falling short.
Ain't taking no more prisoners. Better get out the way. Nothing like they expected. Countdown to contact.
That was likely Seth's last shot at it.
Oh, wow, that could have been it. You can see the disappointment.
And it's Samuel Pupo who really did put on a show for us.
This round of women's is going to be so exciting.
Brisa with priority is going to go. A lot of power. Luana, it's going to be a heartbreak situation for her now.
Gabriella Bryan, a monstrous power hack to kick it off.
And the rookie in Gabriella Bryan taking out Tatiana Weston-Webb.
Molly Picklum now, big swing, big frontside hook. It will be a huge win for the rookie on tour. World number 2 is knocked out.
In the middle of the action. In the middle of the frame. It's gonna be my game.
What a performance from Bronte. Dad is buzzing. Steph draws up into a steep section. Dynamic turn out of the top.
India throws her head back in disgust.
A look of anguish, certainly not safe now.
Lakey, a former event champ, just been knocked out of the event.
This has just been the most bizarre day of competition surfing we've ever seen. Well done, take it.
Thanks, I'll take it.
Big win for Joanne Defay over Sally Fitzgibbons on a dramatic day here at the Margaret River Pro. The quarterfinals are starting next.
Gabby Bryan advancing through into the semifinals, keeping herself above the cut line.
Courtney Conlogue absolutely going to town on this wave.
It's time to rise up. It's time to stand firm. It's time to stay strong. Now I know where
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.